So yeah, I didn't like that, but he does say they're going to knock him out with the Judas effect, make him tap to the walls, and then toss him in the mimosa. So there is 3 ways you can win, but there's no rope breaks. That's the key thing.
Oh,
really.
I don't like the 3 ways to win, by the way.
Well, who's going to win that
I understand
match?
why they did it, because there's no near falls.
I wish
So
Orange
they
Cassidy
have
had
to
rolled
win.
him up, and then that would have been it. And then they'd have put all that orange there, and then
Take that away, lads.
Yeah. Take it back. So yeah, I didn't like that, but he does say they're going to knock him out with the Judas effect, make him tap to the walls, and then toss him in the mimosa. So there is 3 ways you can win, but there's no rope breaks. That's the key thing.
Oh,
really.
I don't like the 3 ways to win, by the way.
Well, who's going to win that
I understand
match?
why they did it, because there's no near falls.
I wish Orange
So they
Cassidy
have
had
to
rolled
win.
him up, and then that would have been it. And then they'd have put all.
Hello and welcome back to the only wrestling podcast that exclusively rebooks, reviews and reimagines the worst of wrestling's past. We are Better Call Creative, and as ever I am joined to my left, representing Diamonds, it's Jack Chance.
Hello.
And he's the Joker of the pack. It's Sam Chance.
I thought you were going to say I was a club. I've been in there.
If you had to be one, would you want to be a club?
Well, I'm usually in it, so...
Yes. It's Sam Chance.
Hello.
And I am your host, Ben Chance. And today we are checking out an often overlooked promotion, mainly because convincing Sam to watch it more frequently than we do might make this a 2-man podcast. AEW, and we are checking them out when the whole world was struggling, but not more so than AEW. We are checking out All Out 2020 from September the 5th, 2020. I won't even ask you, Jack. Sam. I'll ask you, Jack. Have you watched this before?
Yes.
Did you enjoy watching it a second time?
It's long, but parts I enjoyed, and parts I was still bewildered to this day. That's what this promotion does. I think AEW
It's exhausting.
should be exhausted and bewildered.
Yeah.
Just like Tony Khan's
Absolute
Twitter.
exhaustion wrestling.
Yeah.
It should be.
You do get exhausted a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I can't for the life of me understand why anyone at this point is trying to put on 4 hours worth of entertainment in front of no crowd. And then
I think there was a crowd war there.
Well, but in terms of crowd, yeah, I would say there's more.
Over there.
Yeah, there's more reaction from the Thunderdome than there is the people that are actually there. And, you know, I know it's tough. I fully accept it, but part of me just thinks, well, why didn't wrestling just go away for a couple of years or a year and just let us build and let us want it a bit more? And putting on some of the garbage that they put on in this show is, yeah. But anyway, we'll get there. But we are checking out 2020, and God, it was a bleak time for all entertainment.
So,
starting with
Ray lost his eye.
well, that's true. Yeah, this is the
We've
second
done
or third podcast we've done on the COVID era, but yeah, this is. There you go. The UK number 1 was Head and Heart by Joel Corey. BTS was the number 1 in the US with Dynamite.
Boom! Who the hell's BTS?
Not a reason, no idea.
Oh, them.
How are they? I know Cardi B, and she was number 1 both on the Canadian and Australian side of the Pacific with WAP.
Oh, I know.
No,
not that one.
Is it? Do you know it then? You
I know what it means, yeah.
Is it rude?
It is.
Very rude. Tell me off.
Well, you can edit it. We can
What a band. Box office was topped by Tenet because it was the only film that was released around
I've never
COVID.
seen that, but I wanted to see it. I saw the trailers, but it looked alright.
It's what's the name, isn't it? Him who does the Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
Christopher Nolan
it looks
film.
alright, to be fair. I've never seen it.
No, I've never seen it. I think it's sort of like backwards and forwards because obviously Tenet is a.
It's like a James Bondy kind of film.
Yeah. James Bondy, I like that one.
James Bondy.
Everyone, damn, Bondi. Marvel Avengers was released on Xbox and PS4. Ever played it?
I've got it. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, everyone trashed it.
Yeah,
it
was just all microtransaction bollock.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to
microtransaction.
I played about an hour and a half. I was like, I'm fed up with it there.
And even though it was September, there's no football.
I
It's
know, we
all
haven't
been
started,
delayed. We're up in the Premier League. No, it'll come back in late September.
This is
We made our debut in late September. We did play
It
a
was in the
friendly.
championship.
You
went up this year because
we were preparing.
This is 2021.
Yeah, we were
sorry.
preparing for the Premier
Okay.
League. We prepared for the Premier League with a friendly against a fellow Premier League team in Brighton and Albion, which was 0-0. And Liverpool played Blackburn same day, beat them 7-2.
Hooray!
So,
And we
no one saw it anyway.
But pointless game. No one saw it and nothing happened.
That could be the whole thing of the show, though. No one cared. We all went further forward or further behind after it. So we get a fairly understated introduction to the socially distanced pay-per-view as JR welcomes us. It's him, Schiavone, and Excalibur who are on the stick for at least most of it. There is a surprise bonus commentator to come later on.
But I digress.
Yeah. They give us a rundown of the huge card in front of us. There's plenty of titles. There's plenty of matches for careers and stakes. So we'll
How
see.
many gimmicks?
We'll see. Also, due to popular demand, or rather smarky moans and groans, the Tooth and Nail match was originally scheduled to be part of the buy-in.
Oh, yeah, the boy.
But I think AEW fans felt that it had enough depth of storyline to be on the main show. That might
But
be
then
the case.
everybody shits on it.
Well, we'll discuss whether that is reasonable in about 10 minutes' time. Yeah, it's now on the main show. So we're actually opening up a pay-per-view in front of people. Admittedly, most of them plants, but there's some people who've legitimately paid. So we're going to watch a video wall together. Christ! It opens
Where's
up...
John Petty? Right down.
It's such a weird placement. So a Mercedes, I think it was a Mercedes, pulls up and we see Big Swole step out. Reba is on reception. She's part of this whole storyline, isn't she, Reba? And she's shocked. I don't quite know how she didn't realise it was Swole.
She's turned up for a match.
Yeah, she's turned up for a match.
She's here! Of course she's here to a match!
Swole. Big swole, ho.
And she gets clocked and knocked down.
Oh, she did.
Baker is seen in the shadows as Swole is on the hunt for her in her a dentist office.
The blood in the room as well, before that. And then she does the...
Oh, yeah, the blood,
the
yeah.
horror movie Baker in
Well,
the
I
shadows.
thought that's the stylisation we're going for. It's like almost a haunted dentist thing. You're going to have drills, you're going to have that sort of stuff. It's not going to be played up for laughs. It's going to be a bit like Bray versus Braun in there.
The bog fight.
Well, the next scene that I saw was Swole opening a cupboard full of comedy teeth. And I thought, oh, God. Behind
Did
her...
they have any of the chatting?
Baker clocks Swole with her PhD off the wall, and Brick goes to remove her teeth. Swole then fights back, and Reba reappears. Oh, well, that's what they could have done with, but I mean, it's Kane, isn't it? So.
Yeah, no one liked him.
Swole fights back as Reba appears again and threatens Swole with Mr. Thirsty, which is the water tap. She's clocked again by Britt. She's clocked again, as Britt is chased outside and sent into some cardboard boxes. Reba appears again as they wrestle on the Rolls Royce. Britt hits a DDT, and Reba and Britt try and put Swole in the dumpster. Reba gets tossed in it instead. Britt cracks a crutch to the back of Swole and then pegs it. A swivel chair is sent into Britt, who hits a swinging neck breaker. There's a ref, by the way. He counts as a 2-fall. Britt and Swole trade shots as Britt reminds Swole that she's a dentist. I'm a dentist! All right, Britt. A super kick laid Swole on a dentist chair. Britt has a drill, but she misses the drill, the attempt to drill and drills through the chair instead. Reba appears with a banana, or as Shivani says,
that girl's got a nanner on her head.
a nana on her head.
Isn't that a preo?
Which, you know, ha 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 ha.
Oh dear.
She has a syringe full of Novocaine. She tries to, she gives it to Britt, who's going to stab Swole, but as luck would have it, she stabs herself. We legitimately see it as well, which is quite a squeamish kind of spot. Swole has another diploma, which she hands to Reba and then punches her fist through into Reba's face. Swole then puts the laughing gas on Britt, who fades, and the match is called. We hear the bell in the ring or the arena. I mean, my first note.
Did they hear the bell from there?
I don't know. My first note, and I'm not sure you actually watched it, but my first note is, oh Sam, poor Sam. This is garbage. It's so misplaced as a match. Not only is it the worst cinema match I think I've ever seen. Like in terms, I watched with that Sting Darby Allin one. I said it was really good. The bog fight was okay, but it, you know, and then there's plenty others we can have a check out. We probably will. You know, there's the Money in the Bank throwing off a building, but like even with that, the comedy spots in that felt placed right. It weren't all played. This is all played for comedy, and it's legitimately supposed to be a proper feud. They've built it. Britt Baker can work. Swole's an interesting enough character. The cheesy acting, the comedy missed them up. It wasn't funny, and it was just really bad. That was Tony Schiavone. Thank God Tony Schiavone was on the car. It was on the commentary. Because if he hadn't said that was the only part that I laughed. When he said nana. He said, got a nana on her head. I thought, brilliant. Well done, Tony. You'll be talking about this with Conrad in about 10 years' time. I mean, that was shit for it.
Oh, no, we won't bury anything AEW.
Oh, he might do in 10 years. We would have probably said that about WCW. Yeah. We'll see who's paying his bills in 10 years' time. Jack?
Fucking awful. I mean, I have no idea what they're doing for, because they start with comedy, then they go horror, and you think, oh, they're going to do something decent. And then it just quickly goes, we're going to do comedy again. And not very good comedy. I mean, there ain't really a match. I mean, no one really doesn't move, apart from a DDT.
Neck break.
Then Rebel Reba comes out, the banana on her head was like, no. That was the point twice, because this is the second time I've watched it, where I checked out and thought, oh, what the fuck. It's just absolute shit. The finish is crap and all, because it don't really do anything for either of them. No. It's just crap. It's like you really tried to get this on the show, and then they gave you this.
Did they continue this feud after this for any?
Well, I don't think
Swole's gone after it because of the
sort of just issue with down the card, and Britt Baker did a dentist chat.
They a break for a little while. They a break a leg though. Why do they?
Because
she did get it.
Why do they make a big? I mean, I get you can play the dentist without really just you are a dentist. And I mean, if Vince did this, they'd all go, you know, she told her he was a dentist, and now he's doing all the dentist.
Oh, is it young?
Yeah, but they do it. I mean, to me. Why are you constantly going on it? Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, says what you needed to say. Every now and again, you can reference something to do with a dentist, but you don't have to constantly. All you know is a chat show, and you got the giant tooth behind you or whatever. It's fucking stupid.
Well, it's Rebel as well, where Reba she is just comedy. So
I feel. I mean, she's
good. As good.
She's the best thing in.
She's very good at what she does.
But it's like Sam says there. She's misplaced. Yeah, it doesn't help Swole or Britt.
Misplaced he's literally the best.
She's the comedy dude.
The best word for this is misplaced. I would be flabbergasted if any of us have rebooked this on our cards. But even if we have, it won't open. Unless it's Sam who's done it in no particular order.
You know what? Actually, looking at these matches, I think I can say them in order.
Okay, well this isn't, because that should not be open in a paper.
And this is what happens when you listen to fucking Smarks.
Yeah.
That, you know, this deserves it, and then they get this fucking arseholes.
If they'd have just...
I felt sorry for both of them. Britt Baker,
well, I don't know.
As good, but I don't know, I've got sort of like the Lita thing with her.
I know.
I feel there's a bit over...
I don't think Britt Baker... This is what I think with Britt Baker. Britt Baker is sort of... If fucking Wrestling Observer or whatever, or do their 100 greatest women, by default, Britt Baker's always put up there. And there's so many better women wrestlers than Britt Baker.
Yeah.
She's probably okay on the mic. She has got a character.
She's got a character.
And I'm not saying she's bad by any stretch. No. She's not bad. But she ain't like fucking Charlotte Flair. She's like night and day compared to Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte is good. I don't know. And I like Big Swole. There's something you can do.
What happened to Big Swole in terms of her wrestling career after this?
Sort of drifted down the card a little bit. I think she went into a team with somebody, Red Velvet, I think. And then she got released. I think she wanted to release, and then she got released, and then Tony Khan loves Twitter.
Does he?
Yeah,
he does.
He likes Twitter. So he sort of bashed her on Twitter when Swole left and said it was all about race, and he said it war, and then everybody else got involved. And
it was
it's a lot of fun. She's with Cedric Alexander, I think he's her partner.
I'm surprised. Is Cedric still with the WWF?
He is. He survived. I think they do to WWE, or maybe at this time probably not.
Well, she might have.
The problem is, whatever way you look at it, if she started to say, and I'm not saying it's not. I mean, obviously, we don't know what happened behind the scene, but once you start saying that and you create that sort of environment, WWE quite rightly might just think, do we need that? It's exactly like the Punk situation, isn't it? Because, I think they'd have had Punk back, actually, if he didn't leave AEW the way that he's done. Actually leaving AEW has probably put him off a little bit. And probably
he didn't leave AEW, they fired him.
No, he feared for his life. Obviously.
Because of telly. Hello.
Have you seen his
Don't worry though, Sam, we're about to start the pay-per-view properly, the right way. Here they come. It's the Young Bucks. Well, before then. It's Marco Stunt with Jurassic Express.
Marco was there.
Yes, good old
Marco.
Marco.
They even got the whoa.
I didn't realise that.
They got it,
Completely forgot it. Oh, they've not had it yet. They actually buy the rights to it. Luchasaurus tells us tells somebody that he loves them, and dinosaurs are real. We're told that dinosaurs are real by a fan.
Oh, piss off.
Good old Luchasaurus. Young Bucks are out. Sam hides behind his sofa as Tony
Sam
and
goes
JR.
for a shit.
Tony and JR cover the ranking system in AEW, which is a good concept, but really impractical to constantly manage on the amount of TV that you have.
I don't think they give a shit now, do they?
Well,
because I think FTR was top for ages, and they just never had a title.
You can't manage it long term. That's the problem. Is that you could probably do it if you had one show happening every week at a specific time, and you could easily track it, and you could have the end each show with the rankings or update. When you've got so much TV, and half the matches they win don't really matter because they was on Dark Elevation, so it just don't matter.
Don't they just have Dynamite and obviously Dark Elevation was more YouTube, or are they at this point?
That's the two shows that they had. Rampage didn't exist yet.
Yeah, that come when fans come back.
Jungle Boy and Nick Jackson will start us off as the Young Bucks book is pimped by JR. Apparently JR says that it's a good book. I'm thinking he's so disingenuous at this point as well, isn't he, JR? Whenever he says anything, but everyone senses he doesn't give a fuck anymore. Like he just
I actually quite like JR now because he just doesn't care. He's just like, just pay me.
Some of the things he says, I just think, JR, that's counteracting what you're trying to get over when you say it. Why do you say it? Like, no, he's obviously so unchecked. Like, he's had years of Vince shouting at him. No fuckers telling him what to do. And he just doesn't care and loves it every day.
And I think he knows that people might be more pissed off if he gets fired. Unlike Punk. I mean, you've still got fans. I think more people would be more pissed off.
He's got a job. He's got a job for as long as he wants it. But I would, to me, he does a disservice to the. I'm not wanting to be critical, but some of his commentary sort of takes me out a little bit, and I think, oh yeah, he's got a point. And then I'm thinking of this negatively when he's trying to get him over.
He should be like the special attraction in a way. Commentators.
He is
just come out for main events or special matches and that. Like
it's amazing though that Vince recognised that 10 years before Tony Khan did, though, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Tony Khan, he's a bloke playing. What is it? Yeah, what's that game you play? TEW.
TEW.
Yeah, that's basically how we.
He's playing it badly. I'll play it better than him.
Yeah.
Anyway, a change in attitude of the Bucks is built. So he's sort of trying to tell that there's a change in attitude happening within the Elite.
Yeah.
The Elite are sort of arguing between themselves. Not Jungle Boy. Adam Page was showing a bit of respect to FTR, which we'll catch up with later. Omega sort of caught in the middle. The Bucks have got an issue with it. There's a lot going on. Nick Jackson slaps away Jungle Boy's offer of respect, and Matt and Luchasaurus take over. Jungle Boy hits a nice running shooting star press. Marco Stunt is backed up by Matt Jackson as Luchasaurus stops him, and this is Matt, not Marco Stunt, and kicks him down. Nick is brought in, and a roundhouse kick double team gets a 2. I've just put here, JR sounds so crotchety as the Bucks show pace to avoid Luchasaurus' power. Bulldog drop kick double team gets a 2. He gets a 1. Luchasaurus powerbombs Matt into... Nick. It's hard. It's so hard. Luchasaurus powerbombs Nick into Matt as Jungle Boy hits a lovely Hurricane Rana outside onto Nick. Matt hits 3 Northern Light suplexes, and despite a little botchy one, which is supposed to go over the top, it does sort of continue outside and over the barrier. Jungle Boy desperately makes a dive in to avoid a count-out, and then is isolated to build a hot tag. Excalibur and Shivani try their best to put over the story AEW is trying to tell. Each time they get so far, JR says something to completely derail it.
What are you talking about?
And he'll say, when I was a referee, fucking hell, shut up. Nick Jackson super kicks Luchasaurus off the apron to stop the tag. Marco trips a cocky Nick Jackson off the apron. Jungle Boy hits a clothesline to build the hot tag again. He dives into it and fires up Luchasaurus fires up the Bucks with chops and clotheslines. There's a big choke slam, stuck them both up, and a standing moonsault by the dinosaur. Do they need that? No. For a 2. Matt rallies, but is KO'd standing up, and Jungle Boy leaps over onto Nick, and Luchasaurus hits a moonsault from the apron onto the Bucks. You're the dinosaur. You have a jumpy man. Don't do the jumpy thing. If you do the jumpy thing, why would we care about the Jungle Boy doing the jumpy thing? Jungle Boy is powerbombed on a countered Hurricane Rana, and Nick Jackson follows it up, hitting a destroyer on Luchasaurus. I wonder if we'll see a destroyer. Matt Jackson super kicks.
It's a special now.
Matt Jackson isn't anymore. It's a setup. Matt Jackson super kicks Stunt down on the outside. Doomsday running kick by Bucks is followed by an assisted swanton for a 2. The Meltzer driver is blocked with a chokeslam. Surely your favourite move, the Meltzer driver. Right. And the extinction level effect is event, isn't it? Extinction level event. He almost wins it, but Nick saves his brother. Luchasaurus dives into the plants in the crowd. Jungle Boy is isolated. Super kick party can't finish Jungle Boy, but the BTE trigger. What does BTE stand for? Being the elite. The being the elite trigger does finish Jungle Boy. The Bucks win a match that they needn't have won. Jack?
I mean, I didn't mind it per se. I think, they don't do anything particularly bad in terms of botching. The problem is they do too much. And that's the thing with modern wrestling, is there ain't enough. I know it's hard when you ain't got. It's even harder for them when they ain't got a crowd, because they can't feel
I get
that they want you to just slow down there and let me breathe. They think, well, we'll just do more, which makes it even more scatty and everything like that. Like you say with Luchasaurus, and I had this moan at the time about him. He is the giant, big powerhouse. Why is he doing moonsaults? If he's a singles, fine. But when he's with Jungle Boy,
it takes away from Jungle Boy. Exactly. If you can do the flips better than the bloke who's the flipper in the team, why do you need?
Yeah, why would we care about him? Which is the one that was trying to.
But he has calmed that down since he's been with Christian, which is just the logical.
Yeah, but now he's Kane. He's Kane the dinosaur.
Well,
that's what he's got to be.
But he's a dinosaur.
I mean, I ain't got a problem with the Bucks winning. I don't mind the teasing of the heel turn with them, which is fine. I don't think they do anything particularly bad. I just think they do too much in the match, and I think Luchasaurus hasn't figured out how to be Luchasaurus in a sense.
I mean, the only argument against it, I suppose, is he does have Lucha in his name, and by its nature, it is a flippy jumping thing, and I get that to a certain extent. The only issue I have is he's teamed with Jungle Boy.
if he was like the Viking Raiders, for instance, who do a lot of jumping, but they do it within the concept of the psychology of the team, it makes sense. The books are good at what they do, and they appeal to the audience that they have. There is no doubt about that, and they do tell story. That even though the matches never have any psychology, they have got enough about them to tell the story that they're trying to tell. We're now a little bit heelish. We kick the little man. We slap away the hand. That's the little bits of psychology that they do have. But it's a hard match to watch. If anything, if you're going to have this on the card, you have to reverse the two matches.
It's got to be first because it's like the TNA X division.
Exactly.
But then it's fine to have.
And if it's anywhere near the better tag team match that's coming in about an hour and a half, then it's always going to be in its shadow. And I understand why they kept the books over, because it's obviously going to be FTR the books. That's what they see as their big poster match. I could have just done without this being on the card. Sam?
Don't know where to have me, man. But I just fucking hate the Young Bucks. I just don't understand it.
Joking.
I really don't. They did too much.
Yeah.
Again, they've got very little psychology, which don't work. Jungle Boy, I thought was okay, and then he turned out to be a prick. So I just thought he should just be a mid-card or, baby face. He was alright, and then he's just like, fuck off. I'm the same with you with Luchasaurus. Don't do the flips. You're the big man. Throw people back. Marco Stunt, he should be the manager. Don't have him in matches.
You see this
and to be honest, glad they got rid of him, because when you have him in matches, it's pointless. It's like basically Wink v fucking Bond.
The problem with Marco Stunt is it is a gimmick within itself.
Yeah, it's a gimmick.
It can only ever exist for a short amount of time. Yeah. But the wider problem that AEW has is that it's stacked with so many rinse and repeat wrestlers. So you have so many hosses, and you see that in a minute, where you have a battle royal which is around 5, 6, 7, 8 big men hosses, and they all try and outdo each other by doing a flip or doing a jump or doing this, and it's actually sometimes. It would
work as a big man.
Work as a big man. It is hard though to work as a big man when and you're about to get Miro come into the company and all that. It's
I just remember in his picture.
This has been the problem with Tony Khan's booking and the way that he books. He just literally collects everything. Every single wrestler he can get him on the card, get him fighting someone, and then what you actually do is you make no one special. And the people who stand out on his card are the people who have got the psychology and do know how to stand out the edges, the Christians, the people who know and have been to the dance.
Yeah.
I don't think the books are as bad at psychology as you think. I think they appeal to the audience that they know they have, which probably is clever.
And we have seen them live, and that was the most miserable experience I ever had. But it was because of them, it was just in general. But I get it. I understand they've got an audience, they're good for what they are. But I just don't like him. I just don't want to see him.
Horses for courses, isn't it?
Exactly, so whatever.
JR is rocking a yellow shirt as he tells us that he's proud of the Jurassic Express, even though they lost. Cheers, JR. I bet they really, really love that. And then he reminds us about COVID. Thanks, JR. It's time for the Battle Royal.
I'm sure we wanted to remove, but I didn't know that.
It's 21 men. The winner gets a world title shot. Tony Schiavone puts over the big men in the match, which is at least a good... Because it is it's the thread that this battle royal has.
Have Jake throwing the cards around at people. So he did it the first time. Well, play 21.
I've got to give AEW a tiny bit of credit. I do agree with you.
They're trying to be different.
Yeah, it's difficult to reinvent the wheel with wrestling. And a battle royal of this sense, having the cards and the groups together, I don't quite understand the logic of then having entrances. I preferred it when they all come out together, because there is a slight advantage to come in, like Tito and Santana later. Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Tito Santana.
And maybe you need to use those groupings a bit cleverer than they do. Yeah. But it is difficult to reinvent a battle royal without it seeming like they've just stolen the Royal Rumble. I like the Joker element, as I said to Jack yesterday, actually. The Joker element is a sensible thing to have, because you can have it as either a story-driven thing, always come back, or a surprise. The problem is when you don't have either of those two things, and you're left with like, well, that was disappointing. It's like the Rey Mysterio number 30 spot.
It's like I think Cornette said it about Heyman in ECW when they said they always have a surprise on this show. So if you always have it,
it's never a surprise.
It's never a surprise.
That's true. Yeah.
And then you expect it.
Taz is here though, thank God, and it makes this it makes this a 4-man booth. So
that's too many.
It becomes 5 for a brief bit in this match as well, which was mad.
Weird.
Trent is out first. Trent Beretta, but he's dropped the Beretta.
Yeah, it's just Trent.
Trent question mark.
Yes.
When I was looking at the matches right now, I thought, why you Trent?
Yeah. Well, there's
What,
an
is that a
even
question?
stranger singular name coming up in a bit. But Christopher Daniels, who does look the worst I've ever seen him, but he is 20 years older
Has
than
he
when I
still got
normally
his
see him.
knackered
So,
eye? 'Cause he had his knackered eye for
I don't
a
think
while,
it has
though.
happened yet. The eye thing.
I mean, he's
Okay.
still tremendous, but he looks in the worst shape I've ever seen him. Big Jake Hager, who probably looks in the best shape that I've ever seen him in, and he precedes
no hat.
the Blade and Ray Phoenix, who round out our first grouping. I'm not sure what the suit was, but handily AEW tells us. Now, I thought historically they announced what the suit was and then they
Before,
came out, but now they don't even bother with that. Like, and if you're going to have a
Just a
concept,
graphic.
if you're going to have a concept, fucking announce it. So, the Blade hits a fisherman neckbreaker to Phoenix and then shows off some nice acrobatics. Trent hits a nice DDT. Hager slams down Daniels. We've got 20 seconds till the next suit. The next suit is Frankie Kazarian, Will Hobbs, who does look like a stud, Chuck Taylor, who, I mean, I absolutely adore Chuck Taylor, and Santana and Ortiz are in, and they jump Taylor. They're in a feud, aren't they? Best friends.
Circle and best friends.
Yeah.
Which is the match later.
Yeah. These are the diamonds. I wish that was said because there's absolutely no it's just 5 men, if not. Outside, best friends and LAX. Are they called LAX? Or are they just
Proud
Proud
and Powerful.
Proud and Powerful.
Yeah.
They brawl it out anyway. Phoenix is amazing. I've said this before. He use your Rey Mysterio. Feature him as Rey Mysterio. He's amazing. And Blade
Just don't let him do any sit-out moves onto anyone to concuss him.
Yeah. I might have to drop the belt. Blade is sent out first of all. Hager shoves out Daniels. So we lost
the thing with JR. There's a bit where they do the Trent Beretta does a suicide dive,
I've seen that, yeah.
And JR on commentary goes, "Hey, I was waiting for the first one of those tonight."
Yeah,
because he had to go there.
Because he had the goo with Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, ages ago.
This is what I know. I mean, I get it. You would argue I'm probably more in line with Jay, but you throw him on this. I'm not doing the commentary for AEW, JR. I've got every right to criticize.
I agree.
You can't.
Yeah, I agree. You shouldn't point it out when you're trying to get the product over. But he's still
he's
right.
right.
He's
right.
We agree.
Cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Don't just go, "Hey, that's fucking shit, ain't it?"
Taz reminds JR that he isn't a Frank either. I think he was saying to be Frank, and he says, "I'm not a Frank," or something like that, which is
He's
brilliant.
not French,
But I digress. Our next group is, first of all, it's Billy.
Yeah. He wore a gun for a while. I don't know why.
They fell out with his sons or something.
I think that just couldn't have the probably WWE out. It's like Cody.
It was
Cody
out.
But they was the gun club.
It's
I've
just
been
strange.
going
They
and-
can't own the word gun. Like, surely they
Yeah,
can't.
but maybe
Might
it was a
have Billy
Billy gun, he's probably equal at that. Maybe
Monty
it was
Sop.
Mr. Bump.
Monty Sop is there. Penta, who, I mean, come on, he's fucking Penta. Why are you just shoving him in the middle of the car with nothing to do? Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, who are Team Taz, round out that group. Have I missed one? Oh, and Darby Allin, of course. Yeah, Darby Allin. He's in with the
I
skateboard.
really missed the boat.
Are they the Hearts?
They are the Hearts.
Yes.
It's the Heart.
Yes.
Thanks, Justin.
Immediately, Billy Gunn is dumped out as Darby Allin's waffling.
I forgot
thing.
my name.
Yes, you definitely did. The best friends hug it out before Chuck is tossed over the top. Yeah, we get the spades. Who wants to be a spade? We
rather be a shovel.
We open up with Sean Spears, who heads over to commentary to make it a 5-man team. I don't quite know why that spot existed either.
It's such a weird spot because it's clever in terms of a heel going, I'm going to wait. But he waits for like
A
4 seconds and then goes, right, I'm off.
Well, he shits on Shimoni and Excalibur.
You what, sorry?
Is he with MJF at this
I don't
point?
think they've done the Pinnacle or anything.
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
They do love collecting a group, though. They're the absolute random group. I mean, even here, like, I
This
forgot this was a
promotion-
group.
this
Eddie
promo-
Kingston and the Butcher and their team. Like, the fuck's that? Sonny Kiss enters.
With Penta and Phoenix.
That's what I mean. I don't get that group at all. Sonny Kiss enters, and Sean Spears immediately doesn't care. He heads out. Oh, and Lance Archer's come out with Jake, who sort of wanders out, looks at some stairs, and thinks, "Fuck that."
Has he got his wig at Warrior?
Go on, Jake.
I'm really old.
Yeah, you have a seat in the back. Tell everyone your
What was
wisdom.
the show where
Go
he did
home.
a bump and then you just see him sat on the
That was the
apron
one
for
where he
ages?
said when with the farty.
Yeah,
promo.
was that when Cody had to like walk off and you could just see him at the entrance and then he runs back
Yeah, it was
with the Sonic ring?
that was camera Cody, or if get it on the camera.
You're better off in the
Cannonballs.
Fed, mate.
Lance Archer cannonballs onto everyone as Sonny Kiss shocks Jake Hager, which is a nice spot, but he's immediately dumped out, and then immediately Hager gets his heat back by crippling him on the outside. So it's like,
I don't think they ever did anything.
yeah, it just I'd absolutely.
Is Sonic Kiss still
I
there?
would have preferred
No,
this.
left now.
Oh, he has left.
Yeah.
I would have preferred this to work to the proper, like, 4 or 5 big men, and then you've got rid of all the young ones, because that's the story of this.
Get rid of the young
So
guys.
you get the big boss bastard hoss battles.
Big bad-
Well, when you're just feeding Jake Hager to Sonny Kiss, like, come on. It just, and like you say, if you're going to do it, do a storyline or something. It doesn't make any sense. Santana is dropped over the top, and Lance Archer throws Trent over, and then Ortiz is knocked out. Matt Sydal is our Joker, and has a lot of smoky pyro. He starts his career off in AEW by slipping off the top and falling
They
on
do
his arse.
try and explain this later, though, don't they?
With oily rope.
Yeah, with what's his name? Oh,
Nakazawa.
yeah, him with the oily like.
I know, he
that's
wore it,
it,
didn't
But yeah, but he apparently before the show you see. him
Wasn't anybody else smaller?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they have to try and explain it because people was having a go at him. I think.
Well, I mean, look, it's
It's
like natural.
They're the company's fault.
It's not.
That's
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
but, you
natural
know,
that
that
people
don't
might
like
trip and bust,
criticism,
but I mean,
that's
it's your
the thing.
first thing in AEW.
Yeah,
You fall
so
off the rope,
bad,
but it's
yeah.
like, mate,
Because they
you're
don't
already
like
swimming in a big old pond
It's
here.
like a bit of a bad surprise anyway. 'cause
Yeah,
he's
it's
7-0,
bad side, yeah.
you know. And I don't mind him, but he ain't like that.
Well, he ain't going to win no
And
belts.
then
is
it's
he?
just.
Well, the first one was Adam
straight
Page.
away.
The first one.
Well,
but
the
we
thing I
knew
don't mind
the
with that
thing,
is
but-
that.
Yeah, because he should have fought Pac and Pac went,
Yeah.
"Hey, losing."
Yeah, well, there
It
you
was
go.
just
When was Pac?
such a
Oh,
bad,
Pac couldn't go, could he? Because he was stuck over here. Well, he's
It's
stuck
such
in
a bad
Newcastle.
start for his career.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one is, should he be the Joker? I don't know. I mean, obviously, it is what it is. But then he slips on his arse. Jake Roberts is at ringside. He's got amazing hair at this point in his life. I've got to give him credit there. And I mean, I can't believe it, but off camera, pretty much, Penta is just thrown out.
By Kaz.
Is it by Kaz? By Kaz! I didn't even realise it was by Kazarian. Jesus. The Butcher Power Irish whips out Frankie Kazarian, and then Cage drops all the hosses in the ring.
Oh yeah, but there's some shit going on over there. There's some fireworks randomly going off over the baseball stadium.
Yeah, what was that? JR said we're going to explain that.
Oh, there's some fireworks going off. There's a baseball stadium on the site, and there must have been some shit going on over there.
Fucking amazing.
It's
This,
just
this whole
I
company
remember
is
it happening.
fucking mad.
I remember happening watching it. What the fuck's
So the kids are letting off some fireworks. They're kicking over the bins. He hits Starks accidentally, and this leads to Darby Allin throwing out Starks. Starks is not happy about being thrown out, so he throws Darby Allin into a post, brings out a body bag, pours in some tacks. Darby Allin is put inside as JR and Taz argue about this spot. Darby Allin is powerbombed over the top in a bag. I mean, he's a fucking madman, Darby Allin. JR stutters over his crap comment. And it's a bit of an anticlimactic elimination on a double stomp by Sydal on Spears. At this point, it just feels like we got 2 minutes to wrap this shit up, get everyone out.
Instead of just throwing them out, we have to do a move out.
Every time, yeah. I mean, the Darby Allin thing sort of keeps that storyline going.
Hobbs and Archer face off, which does feel like a big moment, but Archer sort of pounces him down quickly. Cage and Archer now have a face off. Cage hits a head scissors, which again, Brian Cage. But Hobbs stops him continuing the attack. Archer donkey kicks both Hobbs and Cage out off the apron. Butcher is thrown out by Archer. Archer hits the blackout on Seidel. Eddie eliminates him, so it's Archer and Eddie now in the last two. We're told that Eddie Kingston has a fear of snakes because he's a heel. That's what happens. He's a fear of snakes. We'll make sure you know that there isn't a snake in the arena tonight by Jake just holding his bag towards Eddie. Have a sniff of this, mate. There used to be a snake in this bag. Archer eventually throws at Eddie, and even he has to do a fucking over-the-top bump off the apron onto Butcher and the Blade. Lance Archer, who probably was more prevalent and relevant at this point than where he is now, so it's hard to justify why we might critically look at him and think, why the fuck would he win? But why the fuck did he win, Jack?
Well, he dated his title match, did he, for a bit?
Well, the problem with Archer winning is the month before, or the 2 months or whatever, is when he come in.
And he was a badass.
And he was the badass, and he was the monster. But he'd already got beat by Cody in the finals of the TNT tournament. So he'd already killed the monster.
So he lost on a secondary title run.
Yeah.
Well, attempt to win a secondary title.
Yeah, attempt to win the secondary title, the inaugural, whatever. And now, we're now going to try and build him up again. So it's a bit like the horse has already bolted. There's so much bollocks in this match because that's what AEW does. They try and reinvent the wheel a little bit with the Royal Rumble. I don't mind the suits and all that shit. But I just think sometimes it's so indie with we're going to do a dive and we've all got to do a move out.
This is like
just dump some people out.
Yeah.
What you doing?
And then body drop.
Archer and Cage.
That's how you eliminate people.
Archer and Cage have a face off.
Done.
Archer and Cage have a face off.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Which is a very good spot. But the problem is, I'm thinking 2 minutes before, I saw you two doing fucking silly moves in the corner. Don't touch each other until you do the face-off.
Exactly,
Because ultimately, big men fighting each other will always draw. That's one. Heavyweight boxing draws because it's big people.
Yeah.
So it's a moment, but you've already done a silly move in the corner, so you've ruined that spot. Darby Allin's a star, but I don't know why he's taking that bump. It's a mad bump, but he is mad. But the problem is he crawls out the bag after, and there's no fucking tax on him.
And that's the problem. They opened the bag. It would have been better if he was carried off.
Took the bag off.
And it looked like that.
Jake opened the bag. Smell that.
Picked up the wrong one. Oh, that Darby.
It's just, I don't think. I know the try, but I don't think they've ever done one of these sort of big rumble things right because it's always
done so many of them.
So many daft spots by everyone instead of just saying this is about Archer, Cage, and Hobbs, and then the Darby Allin. So everything else don't matter. Even though you're sacrificing Penta, which you shouldn't, and Phoenix, which you shouldn't, and some other people, you should fill it with Austin Gunn.
There is no way, no justification for this to be on this show.
No,
none at all. It could have been on a Dynamite, it could have been on a buy-in. You hide this away because the stakes, what are the stakes? Because like Sam's just said, get a title shot
whenever.
Well, I think they do advertise it, but I think Moxley gets COVID, so they have to cancel it.
And then that never happens. But this is the point, at least with the WWE, you are going to have a situation, other than a couple of Rumbles, and we will review and talk about those in the future, but by and large, you win the Royal Rumble, you go to WrestleMania. It's a simple and clear thing. Everyone knows the stakes, everyone knows what you're going to get. So if at the very least you tag this on and say, at Full Gear, whoever wins this is in the main event. Interest. If you just say, whoever wins this will probably get a title shot, I ain't as interested. Immediately. You've got all these flyers with the Hosses. Now, if I'm going to flip the story of what the Battle Royal is here, you have the Hosses dominate the flyers. And I don't like the fact, because the money in this company is in people like Penta, is in people like Phoenix, because they are different to what WWE have got. Yeah. And Darby Allin, without a shadow of a doubt, whether he should have a title or not, is a star. He's more interesting than 95% of the rest of the card.
He is, yeah. But he's the only one that should be doing them kind of bumps.
But at the very least, I'll accept in a battle royal, you can sacrifice all of that as long as you have some focus that 4 or 5 men are dominating this to build to that 4 or 5 people in a circle looking around which one's going to be the dominant horse. Then if Archer does win that, at the very least you've recovered him. But most of them have already been fighting amongst themselves and been selling to head scissors and fucking topes and this and that, to the point that when Archer wins, I have no confidence that he's going to win the title. He's no further or better than what he was about half an hour ago. It's an absolute shit show of a match, and Billy Gunn just comes in and gets thrown out.
He's the only one who went, I'll put someone over here and I'll just go out straight away.
It's like Kevin Nash.
Well, he's probably the biggest bloke in the match.
Who would you say actually got over? I honestly can't.
Darby probably was the
Darby,
only one.
Just because he had a spot out, everybody
he just took a bump.
Yeah. That's the problem with these, and I mean, they've done these too much. They're the tag ones that are these. Because I initially thought when I watched this, I thought, oh, is this that one where Evil Uno does that stupid bump? And then I thought, hang on, that's another one that probably happened last week.
We watched that.
Before, yeah, and it's like, fuck, stop it. Yes, okay, you can't reinvent the wheel with the Rumble. But if you want to make it different, here's what I would do with it. Do it with one suit. You got 14 cards. So the ace, you can say, you're the worker.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the ace. I'm going to go number 1 and win it. You can do that with a heel, fake, whatever. Then get 2, 3, 4, 5.
The Queen.
No, but what you do then is you have, say, a minute or 2 minutes between each. Then you get to the Jack, which then you say, okay, we're going to increase the time 3 minutes. You come in after 4 minutes for the Queen, 5 minutes for the King, and the Joker. You don't know who it is. It's going to be a surprise. That's how you do it. To try and lengthen it. That's what I would do. If you want to base it around cards, don't just say, oh, here's 5 people who drew a club. Here's 5 people who drew a spade.
Well, I do take your point on that. But you could argue, I agree with you. You could argue maybe you're sort of getting into the realms of you've got an order. You've got a 1 through 14. And admittedly, you've named them different. And I do get that. I like that concept. I think the biggest problem with this company, and I've consistently said it, is they have
too much.
150 wrestlers, and they're trying to focus on most pay-per-views that they do. They do these battle royals because they want to get. And what I will give Tony Khan absolute credit for is he is much more concerned, I believe, around the human beings that are involved in the wrestling industry than maybe Vince McMahon. Well, possibly. But by and large, he tries not to do releases and he tries to let them work a reasonable schedule and get as many people paid. That's admirable, but it doesn't necessarily make for a good product.
No.
You could remove this. Like I said, it would have been easier for me to watch an AEW show at 2.5 hours, like the LWF, with the focus on 4 or 5 key storylines, than me having to sit through a battle royal that doesn't matter. Yeah. It just doesn't matter. And, great, it's fantastic that Frankie Kazarian got paid. It's like, I don't want you.
Yeah.
What do you mean? That's like,
true. It's like, okay, just pay him anyway.
Do what you want. I don't care.
I like Frankie.
And to be honest,
I do as well. I don't want to shit on Frankie Kazarian, but Frankie Kazarian at this point ain't going to be winning
he means nothing. He means
don't want
nothing.
this roster, does he?
No. Nobody really
unless
means
he's got
anything.
How can you say he doesn't mean anything though if he's one half of the ROH 6-man chair? What the fuck is this company?
This company only revolves around that middle letter in the name. They try and make it. That's why they get on the show, and that's why this company.
I don't
time for it.
I don't agree with you there. I think if you've got a company that in WWE and you've got Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Adam Page, you feature them at the top of the card because they're better than most of these people on the card. They're just them. I accept your point in terms of the books. They don't cater to you. They're never going to get you. But they am better than most of the people on this card. He's collected a lot of people. That's the problem.
But he shouldn't call the name because I think eventually that it's going to run cold, and I think it is now. And you got to move him out. But then if you got a company called All Elite Wrestling and you ain't got the elite in it, It don't make sense. And
What
how
is
many
the elite, though,
is
really?
the Blade elite? Fuck off. The elite, if you look at it, means the top tier.
What about the
Butch? You know, Butch is fine. I like
No, I
Butch.
get you.
But,
mean.
you know, you want your company to be all elite. Basically, it's just all wrestling.
Well, that's probably the
There's
point.
no elite with it.
That's probably the point I am trying to make is that when you have an over-convoluted, unfocused roster with too much TV, way too much TV, and too much time given to these pay-per-views. I mean, that's the problem, isn't it? They try and go on, and they have started to increase them one by one. They had this sort of, we're going to have 4 proper key pay-per-views a year, and we're going to build to them. But then those pay-per-views are the length of 7 pay-per-views, and no one wants to watch them because they're far too long, and they feature dream match after dream match after dream match after dream match. It's just too.
And when you do that, there's nothing left.
I listened to a Jeff Jarrett podcast, which is quite ironic seeing he's in AEW. But he did say that. He says, like, you can't have a card, and we realise this in AEW where everyone's trying to go out and steal the show.
Yeah.
This concept that all the wrestlers in the back and them all like trying to steal the show, it makes for a bad card because then there's no focus. Everyone comes out and it's like, well, which one of those was the dream match or the best match? Yeah. Anyway, let's carry on because next we've got it gets fucking better from here. Right, we've got issues between Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara. Matt Hardy's recently debuted. He's sort of done an in the broken match and in and out of it, which is probably best because you might be able to bleed a little bit of drops out of it, but it's an overplayed character by now.
It's gone. I mean, it started in 2016.
Yeah. But I understand why because Matt Hardy's never been over, so it's always going to be difficult for Matt not to go back to the one thing that made him interesting.
Well, V1 was over for a bit.
Yeah, maybe. I'm probably being harsh on Matt there, but I'm not the biggest Matt Hardy fan.
Well, not at the minute.
Well, yeah. It's the package. The package highlights the issues that they've had. I don't really think that the rest of the packages aren't too bad, but this one didn't. As someone who doesn't know or hasn't seen it, didn't really get across why this is. Why this is important to watch. But Matt is in his broken persona, and he's decided, I hate you so much, Sammy, that if I lose to you, I'm going to quit, and that will be the thing the hill that you die on, and this match dies on, Matt. Remember that.
Head dies.
So it's broken rules. We start with Matt in the back. They're on that football field or something that's there as well within the arena, not just a baseball field, but a football field as well. Sammy comes on one of those big football van truck things that they drive.
It's a throwback to when he got took down by Omega in the stadium
stampede.
Okay.
Yeah,
when he's him over.
Well, I don't know why it isn't Matt driving it and you still have the thread all the time if Sammy gets run over by the cart. I don't know why he should be driving the cart.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, the Wile Coyote.
Whenever there's this sort of stuff, Sammy can get run over by a cart and it's a moment.
Yeah, I think that's better. I agree.
Then
Kenny always dies in South Park.
Yeah, exactly.
Sammy
always gets run over by a golf cart.
Yeah.
Well, to a point, and then you have to stop it because it's like, okay.
Yeah, they do it every time.
Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy's been doing that gimmick for years. Matt recovers.
Yeah, but he's the most over.
Matt recovers to hit a DDT on a snack table. We see a pathetic merchandise table, and it's not their fault, it's COVID times, but it's so sad, isn't it? To see buy your mask here if you forgot it at home. Right, so...
Would they let you in if you never
I don't know. They fight on this lift truck, and we see it getting ready. Matt and Sammy fight on the top. They both sort of crash through the table, but Matt legitimately he slides... In the back of him slides off the table and his head just plants on the concrete.
I don't realise this was that early on.
Well, it's really early. It's a horrible spot, but legitimately you are seeing a man completely KO'd.
Yes.
Like there's no movement from him.
No.
And how they didn't like the
they
protocols.
Put the X up, though,
but it's still late though. The protocols there that Sammy does stall for time a little bit, but like he looks. For one, without wanting to sound crash, there's no doubt, there's no denying he looked a bit dead. Yeah. So, okay, Aubrey's the ref, isn't she?
Yeah.
She does check on him. I think they obviously get to Sammy that he might be okay. Sammy goes to lift him up.
He's not okay. He can't hold his legs up at this point, at the very least. He sort of falls back to the floor, and they exit. He's off. He's done. Sammy does try and cover for it, so he sort of runs away. Eventually, as I say, we hear the bell. We do get some sound bites from the commentary desk, but the wind is taking out the show. The small audience that's there, everyone can sense and see this is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But Matt has regained enough of himself to go, I don't care the fact that you've just said the match is over, and I am obviously fucked. I'm going to carry on, and nobody comes and says, cut, camera cut.
Yeah.
Go and says, we'll sort this out. It's not no.
Yeah.
We'll let him climb that scaffold. We'll just let him climb. So he continues, which is pretty mad. They meet in the 90% empty arena. They continue the match by climbing up a scaffold, which I assume was the legitimate finish to the match, because it seems like there's a crash pad there. Matt knocks Sammy off the staging, but he's probably about 20 foot up in the air, legitimately concussed, holding on to this scaffold, knocks him off. He counted out because the broken rules is basically last man standing, and it's over. Sam.
Oh, this was fucking stupid. Why not just
4
finish
matches
it?
in here.
Yeah, just leave it. Just
Doesn't matter.
You've got a legitimate injury.
Do you think there's going to be a smark at home? No, Matt Hardy should be fired forever now.
No,
he shouldn't be.
It should have been if we knew what happened. But just call it off, and then when he's better, have him come back, and you can do a story there saying, hang on, I won the match. And he goes, hang on, the match didn't actually finish because you had to try and kill me to get rid of me. And his gimmick, I will not die.
Yeah, they say it.
Exactly. So you've got a built-in story there. And to be honest, I've never liked Aubrey Edwards anyway, to be honest. But I just had to throw that in there. But it's just stupid, and you do feel everybody just go. Oof.
Yeah,
and it's for the rest of the show.
And I
just like, what have you fucking done?
Whatever way you look at it, especially with
in 2000, when Angle knackered his head off the floor, he come back and still carried on. But obviously that was in 2000. Yeah. Nobody really knew, did they? And this is 2020.
Well, and this is the point, isn't it?
You've got to hold one wrong. If he did that again, he could die.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it?
So it's just
and not only that, the main bulk of the fans in AEW are of a certain ilk where they're a bit more wise to what wrestling is. And I'm not saying that makes it right or wrong, but they're smart enough to realise this match needed to end.
Yeah.
So the moment it doesn't end, it's bad for AEW. It would have been bad no matter what company, but it is terrible. And I know it's hard when you're in live TV, and it's obviously Matt wanting to continue. I'm not saying, they said get out there. I know that he's decided to, but you could have cut that pay-per-view at that point, gone to an interview, pull him back out, and who gives a shit about the concept of him being fired? You build it into a storyline, you write it. People have been fired and gone from wrestling forever before.
Cena got fired and come back and still had his knee post.
The circumstances, obviously, I can't add this in terms of a critique of match. So when I consider the worst match, it's not their fault. I would argue that spot is a difficult spot when it's a singular table over concrete to not risk serious
if you had
injury.
two together,
and you know what? How stupid is it that's the spot that's eventually going to lead to the obvious crash pad spot? That's going to be enough to be.
My issue with it is I've seen 2 spots they planned, and the start spot is much better than the finish spot
in terms of it being an end spot,
being impactful and looking good. I mean, it's horrible and it's disgusting, really, that it carried on. It should never have carried on because they threw up the X. It should be finished and just forget about it, and we'll do it another day.
Yeah.
And like I said, the start is ridiculous, and then to start it with that when it's a better finish than the finish, and then the fact that you've let him carry on. It's like he's just going to do a roll up. He's got to climb 20 foot in the air,
unbelievable,
which is ridiculous for a bit of a shit. I'm just going to fall onto a crash pad.
Didn't look that good, did it? Really?
Yeah, it's like come on, we don't need this. It was just a really bad look for the company.
Yeah.
A really bad look for the company.
A company that sort of prided itself on saying that it's a bit more sort
Looks
of
after the wrestlers.
looking after the wrestlers as well, and that this is the time where you're starting to peel back the layers a little bit and just going, it's just wrestling, isn't it?
It's all carny.
Everyone's a carny no matter what. Shida and Thunder Rosa is our next match. So this has been built up. It is I think the package puts it over as being a key match. I quite like the fact that they had that little standoff, which felt not massively rehearsed. It was a bit sort of awkward, but that's what these sort of things should be, a little bit awkward. The fact that Billy Corgan put it over, the NWA champion being Thunder Rosa, and the reason he's authorised
Proper
Thunder
company.
I've got to be honest, it feels pretty old school. So
I liked
all
it.
for this.
I really like the build.
Champion versus champion.
JR says that it's trending #1 worldwide, and then JR
That's
tells
he's
us.
broken it.
I wonder why.
Then JR tells us a bit about Shida. I do love the stylisation of Shida. I like that. I know she
I
does.
know you like the entrance.
The mirror thing, the fucking look. She just.
I don't have it now. I don't have that mirror
No,
thing.
annoying.
It does look really cool.
It's just so cool. The ticker tape as well, I like. It breaks down early on with so the respect that either of them might have had goes to sort of face palms and punches and clubs. After a bit of even work, we see a double drop kick and back to a face off. The shots aren't being pulled though. I mean, and they are quite stiff as Rosa kicks down Shida. Rosa hits double knees to the spine and a neck breaker. Shida recovers, hitting a tilt-to-world backbreaker, running knee lift, which does give Mr. Wrestling 2 a bit of a
Bit of love.
I'm going to get him in. Rosa hits a running kick from a chair and then bends Shida's back around the ring post. Rosa then stampedes Shida from corner to corner. Next, Shida recovers and Sleeper holds down Rosa. Rosa locks in a pendulum hold and mocks Shida, popping her head into the bottom turnbuckle. Rosa blocks a stretch muffler. What an amazing name. But he's kicked out by Shida. Shida gets a 2 on a suplex and Rosa hits a Miz-style clothesline in the corner. Sends Shida onto the stage. Eventually, though, it's the apron that is used as Shida hits a Death Valley driver onto it, earning her a 2. Back onto the stage and Shida hits what Excalibur tells me is called the Meteora.
The knees,
Yeah, knee drop from Brett's rope. Shida hits a Falcon Arrow, gets a kick out at 1. Didn't like Thunder Rosa pulling her face and bobbing her tongue.
No, I don't like that.
Just didn't do it. Just
I
kick
don't
out
think I've
and rage or do that.
Yeah.
Don't go, hugging it. Fucking stupid. It's so smarky. Rosa locks, especially when you're about to lose. Rosa locks in a Rainera, which again, fair play to Excalibur, educating me on the names of boobs. Shida is on top, hits a Tamashini. Knee. No one kicks out of that. No one did. And Shida beats Thunder Rosa to exert dominance over that pissant of a company. NWA.
How dare you? How dare you?
I enjoyed the match. Thought it was nicely played. I mean, at this point, the fifth match on the card. Thank God we've got one that I feel from start to. I can pick holes in it. It's not going to be massively memorable, but for what they did, I thought it was good, and I quite like the evenness of the match. Jack?
Yeah, I really liked it. I like the start. I like the package. I like the start where they go head to head. At least it's finding, it's we're going to start with flips and tricks. We're going to do head to head and build a story. They didn't do anything daft too much. There was a bit of stuff, they used the apron and the stage and everything, but it wore over the top and too much, so I can get away with that. I like the match. I would have liked them to have done another one, probably in NWA for the NWA title, and then maybe if they could work out a double title match or whatever. But
a bit
really
like Dan
it.
Severn and Tarzan Gota.
Yes, exactly, for the IWA title.
Shida!
But I really did enjoy it. I knew I'd like it because I remember it, and I did enjoy it a lot more.
I
And
cannot
it probably
believe-
is helped because of a lot of shit before.
Oh God! Because this placement, when you place the card, this is the one they had no confidence would outperform anyone else, and it has absolutely shat. It's taken its trousers down and shat on anything that we have seen so far. So I couldn't believe, having seen the card, that I would at this point be saying this is the best match. But so much credit to them, and I think these two are good workers.
They are
Very
two
good
of the
workers.
better women there. You can build around these two. I agree with the fact that it would have been nice, and I probably would have seen the NWA match, but I think because of COVID, NWA did basically shut down. They
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
they
why
did some
they're here,
behind the scenes, but I know, I think, like last month or something, they released a Tyrus winning the TV title against the Pope, which I've never seen, but obviously it must have been recorded at the time when.
I think
Because
it's
they've got
harder,
limited
ironic.
fans,
Yeah,
they
I think it's
basically
ironic.
shut down.
It's ironic that the fact that really the ones that should have been easier to set up are the ones that have got fewer fans anyway. But those are really hard to go to no fans.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's just weird.
It's just weird how it is, and obviously I'm NWA mark. But I really like these two, and I feel so sorry for Sheeda. I know she's just won the belt.
I was going to say she won the world
3 times now.
But 3 times. Well, it was the second time.
I won it here, I won it again, and then I dropped it to
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm. And
Oh,
okay.
okay. She's one of the few, because I know they did the thing with Japanese women. They do a tournament as well.
Yeah.
With it, and he's
all
Kenny
Omega
thing.
That's what he said.
Because he went for it. But she's the one I think that is proper standard. That similar to Asuka, not like Asuka's level. Because Asuka's way above them all. But who's the one you could build around?
I think WWE would have both of these. I really do.
Oh, definitely. Thunder Rosa, when I saw her in NWA, I thought she's got a good look.
Yeah.
She's
the Day of the Dead sort of half face and stuff. I think
she's got a good look.
I'm pretty sure that Thunder Rosa will pop up on the.
Speaking of good looks, here's Kip Sabian.
Oh, fucking hell. I mean, Jesus Christ. So, Kip Sabian, I mean, he's pimped before it happens, which is sort of like, okay, if you need a piss, here you go. Kip Sabian is going to tell us something. He's got an announcement. He's getting married live on AE Dynamite to his legitimate partner, isn't it?
He's the legitimate.
They are, he needs a best man now. Everyone needs a best man when you're getting married. He sets up the best man reveal, though, being on Wednesday, which I think we shouldn't spoil. More on that on a future podcast, because Jesus Christ.
That deserves that.
Yeah. Billy Mitchell.
The most overrated. I wanted one of them. Okay, now Billy Mitchell.
So the Dark Order then, we fly into an 8-man tag now. The Dark Order versus the Rhodes family feud is built. It's predominantly around Cody Rhodes' feud with Brody Lee. Brody Lee's just beating for the TNT.
That did the whole, was it Vader and Inoki? That was the whole story they tried to do, where he didn't even up the leg. He just completely dominated him and just pinned him.
Is that what Vader did to Hansen?
No,
Inoki, sorry.
Yeah, because Inoki had never been beaten. That's how they debuted in Japan.
Just absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely destroyed him and didn't up the leg or something. That was the story I heard at the time.
So Brody Lee's debut, he's really dark character, but obviously he's sort of
Vince
McMahon as well.
There's
an element of him being the dark executive rather than him being.
Couple of Vince things.
Yeah, with the sneezing and I'm not.
Which I don't like. I don't think he needed that.
No. I don't mind him not going uber dark, because if you go in the kooky sort of occult thing, it can limit it. I don't mind it, but it's not the strongest faction that he's built. I think he could have probably built a little bit stronger.
It's a bit Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah.
He should have been on his own. I always liked Luke Harper.
I don't mind him as a cult leader, but he's got a lot of fodder.
But if every one of you is a lackey, then really,
If I always said Luke Harper, when he come in, he should have just been on his own. Just stick him on his own. He is like Bruce Brody. That he should have been your monster. That's what he should have been. Yeah. On his own, no lackeys, just dominant. He's the final boss.
Well, the final boss has taken out Cody, but he sent the Nightmare Factory to sort him out. The Nightmare Factory being Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall.
Oh God, that is a nightmare.
But they've needed to find two other men that needn't have been on the card. But it's Matt Cardona and Scorpio Sky. I think Matt Cardona had a legitimate friendship with Cody.
Yeah, I think he still does. He's
obviously not signed to AEW, but sort of
freelancing and
Yeah,
around.
just-
He
This
hadn't
is
long
it.
been released.
Scorpio Sky, has he had his push to the moon build, got a big gold ring yet?
He'd fought Jericho for the belt early on Dynamite, and I think they'd done the amicable split with SCU with
Yeah.
Kaz and Daniels, but then they didn't know what to do.
And he becomes the 8th man in this match.
Exactly.
It's a shame I really like Scorpio
He's
Sky. He's
so
got
much
something.
better than-
He's got something.
He's
Everybody
standing
likes
next to QT Marshall.
Oh,
And
well.
QT Marshall's getting all these spots and everything built around him. And Scorpio, I ain't being funny, but Scorpio Sky's worth $1 billion of QT Marshall. And even Matt Cardona, I know he's over, and he's I like Matt Cardona, but he's not going to be with you the next
Nah.
week. Why are you featuring him over?
I think this was the beginning of his proper big run where you see what he is now. Where if he went back to WWE, he could be a world champion.
Well, the
And he
problem
probably
is,
will.
well,
but,
the problem is, it's EA with the company. Is he like
Nah,
their
he's-
wife?
My
Yeah.
vote feature. No, you ain't going to do that. Anyway, Dark Order is led out by
Dark
the
Order.
Dark Order. It might be called that. I'm going to call it the Dark
Never
Order.
been door.
well, considering fucking one of them's a comedy character.
Yeah, well, they're led out by Brody Lee. Big brawl to start as Brody Lee and Dustin Rhodes are our focus initially. Eventually, a tag match breaks out. QT and Evil Uno start
Oh, I
off.
got it back.
QT gets the advantage. Scorpio hits an Irish whip for a 1. Big neck breaker by Cardona. Stu Grayson is tagged in and lays in kicks to QT Marshall. Colt Cabana is sort of the comedic relief, and the other members can't understand why he carries so much favour from Brody Lee. Is that the story? Am I
Yeah,
right
he's
in
sort
getting
of trying to get in favour with Brody, and Brody's getting pissed off with him because he
that? Right.
Dark Order.
Yeah, so Colt Cabana, why he wants to be in the Dark Order, I don't know. But he kicks down QT. Lee shows his strength. Every time Lee's in, you feel like he's dominant. It's a back body drop. Does the gun show as well, of course. QT is isolated, and Uno uses tape to choke down QT Marshall. QT flips into a torture rack by Grayson, who I do like. I like Grayson. I think he probably is where he
Is
should
he
be on the
number
card.
2? Was he like? Was he?
Yeah, Evil Uno was 1, and he was his partner.
Player
in the Smash
Uno,
Brothers.
Player DOS Wars.
Yeah, he was his partner in the
Is
Smash
he in
Brothers.
Impact still?
No, he's in AEW again.
Oh, has he gone back?
He never went to Impact.
I
You're
thought he
thinking
did.
of Alan Angels.
Oh, sorry.
Stu Grayson left AEW, and then he's come back, and now he just appears on ROH, I think.
Oh.
6-man. QT works and makes the hot tag. Cabana and Cardona are in. Cardona hits the woo-woo kick, or it's now called the reboot.
Broski boot.
The broski boot.
Broski.
As it's now called. Face plant by Cardona, but Cardona is sent through the ropes as Grayson drops it. Cardona is isolated as Silver hits flipping senton on. I might as well have put that flipping senton on the apron. Lee is such a good villain. He goads Dustin in, goes over, pushes him, bullies Cardona. Brainbuster with a kick by Grayson gets a 2. Cardona hits a neck breaker. Dustin wants some big reaction for his hot tag. He does get it. Running Bulldog. Dustin, he can't go 20 minutes, but what he does well. He's clever, Dustin Rhodes. He comes in, he does his greatest hits, and then he leaves. He's like the Bruce Springsteen of the company. Brandy gets in with Emma Jane?
Anna
J. See, no idea. Absolutely pointless in this group is Anna J. Scorpio Sky hits his beautiful TKO for a 2. Cardona hits radio silence on Grayson. What did he say?
He gets all pervy, though, after the TKO.
Oh,
because he had a
loves
backlash,
he loves it.
Does he?
He did it all the time at that point.
Apparently,
He says,
everybody had to
does
go.
he have a wardrobe malfunction, or is that just wishful thinking on my part?
I can tell you that.
Did Anna J have a wardrobe malfunction?
I don't
Or
know.
was it wishful thinking on my part?
Because everybody goes, "How dare you? This is not." And he just went, "I don't fucking care."
He don't
He was
care,
like
does he?
responding. He was like, "Fuck it, I was trying to get the match over or something." He's just like, "Fuck."
I wouldn't.
He said something. I just remember at
He
the
said
time.
he had a wardrobe
I remember at the
malfunction.
time, people having a go, saying, "How dare you?" You know all the.
Cardona hits radio silence to Grayson and Evil Uno. His attempt on Brody Lee fails, though. He's power bombed. Do some flips, QT. Yeah, so he does.
He's isolated. Big power bomb by Evil Uno and a Bossman slam. A splash by Cabana and Lee. QT survives. And we get what I think this match should have been, which is Dustin Rhodes and Brody Lee. Big clothesline by Dustin. Cabana misses a moonsault and Dustin just rolls him up. So all those moves mattered. Nothing in the end. The Nightmare Factory have vanquished the Dark Order by winning with a roll-up. Don't worry, Cody. That blood you spilt, it was spilt for good reason. We beat him with a roll-up.
Why was Cody...
He was doing that show, worry, with Snoop Dogg.
Oh, is this when he comes back with the black hair?
Yeah.
Oh,
which is obvious.
Robbie Ron.
Robbie Ron.
You know he's going to dye that fucking hair black when he turns heel.
Fucking brilliant.
Jack, thoughts on this 8-man sponsor?
It's a bit messy at times, but it's okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind the story. Brody Lee is obviously very good and really doesn't need the Dark Order, but I don't mind him having minions. Dustin's very good. Cardona's quite good in what he does, but he ain't going to be there, which is the issue. Scorpio Sky feels like he's unnecessary in this match and too good to be around. This QT Marshall, oh my god, I've never liked you.
Has he still got his QT TV?
Well,
you watch AEW, wasn't
I do skip him most of the time, to be fair, because of course that QT Marshall is just boring. I don't mind the Colt Cabana stuff, but it does feel like, why are we trying to build to Colt versus Brody when the story is this heavily, emotional Brody with the Rhodes family, and all of a sudden we've got Colt's comedy, and we're trying to build to that.
Well, it comes back to
the problem with the Dark Order. They don't know what they want.
Well, actually, I think with what happens to Brody, obviously he's gone within a month, and obviously passes as well. And I think the natural progression then is to make them comedic then, which makes sense. So they probably laid the seeds well. But our question, I think what you say is right. This is obviously a vessel to get Cabana versus Brody Lee. I don't think anyone wants to see that. I don't think he's on them even close to being on the same level. And even if you look at the logic and the kayfabe sort of things, just fuck him off. Like, why would you have him around? He's just a knob. He don't offer you anything. He loses and he's racked. So just don't have him anywhere near your group.
Uno picks him up at the end and
tries to show him a bit of respect.
I think it's like them all going to eventually turn on and drive Brody out.
Which possibly
maybe would be where there was.
Would have been,
but in this match, there's two people you want to see fight, but you got to wait till Wednesday.
Well, exactly. When that was what really got me hot, is that immediately after the match they start pimping Wednesday, and I know Tony Khan's booking for ratings, even though ratings no longer matter.
This is
but I don't quite understand when you're telling me your pay-per-views or your special shows, you give me an 8-man tag to set up a match on Dynamite.
Oh, wait, it's TNA.
That's pathetically stupid. But at the very least, if you am going to set that up, I think you have Dustin versus Cabana. And you take away the need for Grayson and Uno to lose. You don't need to have Scorpio Sky on the show at all if he ain't going to be featured. Cardona don't benefit at all from this. In fact, I would argue it confuses the audience that might be following him on what the fuck he is. Because he's supposed to be this hardcore wrestler that's coming in and messing about with it.
He hasn't done the hardcore.
No, I know, but
I know what you mean. What you
mean. And we could all do with a lot less QT Marshall. So, for me, the match was fine. They did nothing wrong. I would have had the Dark Order go over.
I do love that. He is universally disliked by like every fan. Who cares about QT?
Well, when he started doing the I'll forgive Luchasaurus or even Brian Cage or even Lance Archer, all these people who can actually work as a big man style doing a moonsault. But when you're QT Marshall and trying to sell me, it's like fucking Top Dollar doing his dive. Like, no one asked for it, and now everyone hates you for it. So
are you the only one out of that group that
Are they going to repackage them, do you think? Then they're going to repackage the sandwiches?
B-Fab that can do something with, I think.
I think on their own. NXT.
Yeah. It's just a shame that Swerve Strickland got signed by AEW, I think.
Hey, give that man the belt.
Well.
Sam?
Just thank God Cardona left. I think he might have saw this and went, fuck this, I ain't signing here. I don't care if you're my mate.
God, that would have been a
If
bad.
I'm going to get stuck with QT, Jesus Christ. Bro, I did like Dustin Rhodes. He works his arse off. I liked his look. I like the blue. I like the blue with him. And Scorpio Sky, I felt so sorry for him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it should have been Dustin v somebody in the Dark Order to lead to him getting revenge for his brother. Keep Cody away for a couple of months.
I think they do, though, don't they? I don't think Cody's back till the dog collar match in about a month's time.
It's the brandy things as well. Like, this man has completely ravaged your husband and stolen his belt. And you've come out all happy and smiley, and it's like,
Brandy
killed your husband.
The problem is that Brandy
I don't get that.
just keep away.
It does a lot. Yeah, throughout.
Just annoys the fuck
Yeah,
out of me. that.
yeah.
It's no surprise WWE have gone, no, we're all right. We don't need to wait.
Do you want to be a ring announcer?
we're all right without you, White.
Stay over there. But yeah, it's just. There's a lot of moving parts that shouldn't be moving.
Yeah.
And to be honest, in all honesty, Brody Lee should probably just be in a match. Even if you wanted Cardona, you could have him squash Cardona.
Well, I don't know
Because
whether
Cardona-
Cardona would want that. That's
Probably
the
not,
problem, isn't
because
it?
he's going to, you know what I mean? It's like,
The match that you want to see.
or do
He's
the
gonna
Wednesday
have to go
match here.
Well,
Because
yeah,
it's a
exactly.
pay-per-view.
I've done it differently in my rebooking, but I think
And me.
if you're going to do it, you've got to do it here more so than Dynamite, because
Mm.
this is supposed to be a special show. I've paid for this one. I've gone out of the way to pay for this, and you're telling me, don't worry about it, because everything that's happened here will build to a match that you can pay for. You can watch
I've only
for
got 4.
And by the way,
Yeah, well,
QT
whatever,
Marshall, for some reason, when I look at him, I think of a squash. I don't know why. It might be of a squash.
Well, there
Carry
you go.
on.
Yeah. For more insights on that, follow us now. FTR, I put over big
Yay!
in the package.
Finally,
The storyline does feel a bit though like the shit going on in the Elite. Here is FTR who are obviously good.
They
but-
hadn't long debuted,
but
had they?
don't worry, there's shit going on with the Elite.
They turned up in the car, don't they?
Yeah. FTR are out first with Tully Blanchard, who I do feel good fit. I think I know that they've probably outgrown him and they've moved away from him now, haven't they?
Oh yeah,
they did a
there,
while.
but I don't know why they needed him then, really. But
Well,
I know why they.
It was
I
a good
think the problem with
introduction.
the FTR has always been them just really, really good wrestlers. Like, there's no doubt about it. They are
the
just
best
really,
tag
really
team
good
in
wrestlers.
current wrestling.
But
They am a tag
I
team.
can understand why WWE said shave each other's backs and put on your lederhosen, because they are difficult to, unless you'll get behind tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
They're difficult.
Well, Vince said it. I think if Triple H had the choice,
I mean,
he would have said,
I don't
"Come
believe
here."
that. I can't believe they signed 4-year deals. I really think they're in the wrong company.
They are.
Purely because I just don't think how many times can you fight the Bucks? Like, you know, I think that would have been more interesting if they'd have built a tag team division around them, and they're never going to have that in AEW. I think they've done what they did.
The Street Profits would have been good. Them the Usos, which except with the shaving back nonsense.
But then
With
you've
the
got all,
bloodline,
you've got all the
sure.
NXT, and they are the yardstick then. So all the NXT tag teams come up. I think
Them and Pretty Deadly would have been a good feud.
that's what I mean. I think with
Mustache
AEW,
Man.
even though it seems on the surface they care more about tag team wrestling, and they do. There's no doubt about it, or they have at the very least.
Vince.
I wish they hadn't signed 4-year deals. I really when I knew they'd signed 4-year deals, I thought, you've missed a trick here, and now they've lost a friend anyway. So
Yeah, but they gave another one because I think was it
Yeah,
the
they
second
are big.
feud that Edge actually called one of them. When because because I think he mentioned the day and everybody went, he's got a gun.
I mean, it's obviously I understand they are family people as well, and ultimately you go on. We're going to you so with WWE, you're working every fucking day of the week.
Yeah, exactly.
So who am I to say? Anyway, Justin Roberts has got a lot of gel in his hair. He does the big bills for our tag team match.
Oh, never mind.
Cash and Omega. So the tag team champions currently are Hangman Page and Kenny Omega.
Was that the second champs?
Yeah.
They beat Sky
SCU.
and it was Sky and Frankie wore it.
Yeah.
mainly.
So Sky's already had a title run at this point.
Yeah.
Cash and Omega start well. They don't. Cash and Omega start well. They don't because Page wants to tag in, and obviously he's hot that they sort of turned their back on him and didn't appreciate his offer of friendship. He does start to bring some heat, and that brings Omega in questioning, telling him to calm down. Which again, it feels like they're setting up Page to be the one that turns heel there with that, and so I understand it, but it's a bit weird. The champs take down FTR, have a high 10 after dual kicks. Dash is isolated in the champ's corner as Omega hits a running Fameasser, and Page hits a flip for a 2. Page is sent into the ring post and the heels bend him around it. Seen that spot before. Big knee as Dash Harwood. Is it Dax?
Dax.
Dax.
Yeah, because they named themselves after Demolition. Dax and Cash. That's why they call them the Axe and Smash. Dax
They're
and
so
Cash.
clever. They actually hit 2 or 3 like old school 80s moves.
That's
glory thing.
because that's why they have
Bulldog
the Midnight Express gear and
if you're a tag team, you live the tag team life.
Hard and Tully with Dax and Cash.
At some point, they're going to do the Twin Magic Killer Bee spot.
Definitely, going to do the Rene Dupree and Kenzo Suzuki.
Falling off the apron. They're going to have Shark Boys masked with Nuka.
Shivani, I'm talking about some tickets, and the VIP is pinned, and they go on about food, and Shivani says, "Well, I'll take some spam." Love Shivani. FTR have got off the ring. Excalibur talks about FTR sharing the ring work, which again, I mean, they're just such good tag team work. Abdominal stretch with heel assistance, love that. Page gets a small package as the ref is trying to tell Cash to get out the ring. Page makes a hot tag though, and Omega brings the fire, hits a running Samoan drop, a moonsault combo for a 2. Omega avoids Dax and hits a drop kick on a leaping Cash Wheeler. Omega then hits a tope and poses on the outside. Missile drop kick for a 2. There's a nice bit of teamwork as Dax hits a power bomb and Cash hits a German. Then Dax rolls into the pin, so he's the legal man. Beautiful, makes perfect sense. Omega rallies, takes down both FTRs. They're stacked up in the corner. There's an assisted German, an assisted powerbomb, a running knee, all for a 2. FTR block the double team buckshot, and Omega is quickly isolated. Omega is hit with a superplex and a splash, which is throwback to Power and Glory. Love that. Brainbuster by Dax and a swinging DDT by Cash. A reverse Rana by Omega, and then a spike Tiger Driver gets a 2. Pair of dragon screws, and Dax zones in on the leg with an inverted figure 4, which I think they said beats Best Friends or Private Party.
Best Friends.
Yeah. Omega is selling the leg big as FDR is vicious in the hunt, and they use the ring post on the leg. Omega keeps building to the hot tag with snap Germans, but Page isn't there when he wants to make it. Omega finally makes it. Page takes down Harwood with a springboard clothesline. Both men are sent to the outside. Page sets up a moonsault, but FTR move, so he hits a swanton onto both of them instead. Back inside, and Page is run into a clothesline by Dax and is isolated with a pair of headbutts, which again is shades of the British Bulldogs. The FDR ticking off their tag teams as they go along. Bulldog by Cash from the shoulders on Omega on the outside, and then on Page on the inside. Page hits a fall-away Yes, there you go, yeah. Page hits a fall-away slam, suplex style from top. Omega misses a knee after a missed buckshot. Page is KO'd though. Brainbuster Spike Pile Driver gets a 2. And then a second one is pretty much immediately hit. And fairly cleanly, FTR have won the match. I mean, Tully Blanchard barely got involved, really, other than to tell him to move. Jack, thoughts on this?
It's very good, don't get me wrong, but I do think that they do too much again. But that's modern wrestling. I don't think they let it breathe enough.
It's Omega wrestling.
The pace is too quick at times when you just need to let it breathe. The finish annoys me. I don't know why you need to do 2 spike piles. Just do 1 spike pile driver. I don't know why you need to then go, right, we'll just get up and hit another. And then that wins it. I don't know why it's not just 1 spike pile driver. It just felt a bit daft to me. But it's very good and they do work well. And I like all 4. But I do think there's too much poured into it where I got a bit tired by the end of the match for how long it was and how much was going on.
I mean, I think all 4 of the men can really, really work, and tonight they worked too long. I mean, it was done really, really, really well at parts, and every time I thought, right, that's a sensible ending, and then they kicked out or they moved on. And I don't know whether Omega and Page, they did all right after the bell, but I would have preferred a bit more, because this is all storytelling. You move the belts away from the story that you're telling onto the tag team that you want them on, and you keep that tag team strong, but you keep the thread of the story going. But because there's constantly this need to get your shit in, you sometimes forget the story you're trying to tell. I thought FTR played their part well, and I'm not criticising. I've said it. If I was booking AEW, Omega would be at the top of the card. So would Hangman Page. I like them both. I would just tell them you could shed 2 or 3 moves. You don't need to do a fucking reverse Rana every time, like you know. Sam.
Yeah, I think they could have done the Bret Owen thing from the Rumble, with Page being the one that he don't want to tag out because he thinks he can win, and he's trying to prove
that
it,
would have been a good,
you know. And then I may say, tag me in, you know, and then you can do the turn there and have FTR, because FTR is
that would have been the most sensible booking for this.
Have it do it like that, because as much as I do shit on Page, I think he's a good upper mid card. I don't think he's main event. He shouldn't have won the belt. The story they do have with him, with the confidence,
with fucking children.
Yeah, no, but with the confidence and everything. You know what?
That man a cupcake.
I'm trying to put him over it.
So that's what Punk said.
Hey,
I'm fearing for my life. Move on.
I'll fuck them. But these 2, Omega, I get it. Okay. Oh, he ain't my thing, but I get it. He is a star.
He's really good at
He is really good at what he does. He is somebody you can put at the top of the card. Fair enough. And when he did the belt collector thing later on when he was a heel, you know, that's the kind of thing you should do. You know, smarmy
Has he been heel since this?
No, at this point. Page, I don't think should be anywhere near the world top. He probably could be a challenger, but not a champion. But the story that did do, I think, leading from this, where he had crisis in confidence and
the drink, and
all this drink, and that, fair enough, because it's a quite modern angle, and fair enough. It just needed that. I think it should have been the Bret and Owen angle.
That would have been good.
That's what should have happened here, because he's trying to prove himself to him. Obviously, the Bucks have said, "Oh, fuck him," and Kenny's like, "Oh, we'll give him." You know, give him a thing.
The thing is, after when them doing the Kenny walking off, and
so I mean, just to fill everyone. So after the bell, Page gives some generic. He's given some generic beers, which I like. It's just a beer. Omega's not happy. He sort of teases attacking him. He's got a table,
weird table,
like a card table. But he moves away from a hug, and that crashes Page. I think that makes him look daft, to be honest. I get the point. And Omega's not happy. He's done. He walks out. He's sort of bickering and arguing and telling the Bucks you're sort of with me or against me, or that kind of esque.
And that muddies in a little bit, because
now the Bucks
are becoming
tweeners.
They were tweeners, and I thought they were the ones that turned up.
Like, actually, I don't think we are heel.
Yeah,
because your thing of the Bret Owen thing would have been really good, but the problem is then they would have had to get involved. And what do?
Well, they could have come out to stop him.
See, we told you he won't take. He won't listen to us. So then you've got him. Then 3.
Or you could have had him in the Owen spot of feigning that they're regretful that this led to this with Omega. They come out and then they just beat the piss out of Page as well. I mean, to be honest with you, the more I think about it, the more that this was a bit of a missed opportunity. But actually, for FTR, maybe they thought, if they win the title with all this gaga going around them, we forget that FTR are the champions, and if we give them the focus before we do the storyline, I am being trying to play devil's advocate, I would have done 1,000,001 things differently. But ultimately, it is one of the better matches on the card.
Not without a doubt.
And after the shit we've watched,
Yeah, there ain't a lot wrong with
well,
it.
don't worry.
There's orange flavoured shit next.
Okay.
Mimosa Mayhem, I will have you know. It's Mimosa Mayhem time.
Mimosa my heart.
Jericho and Cassidy has been built. The build is very, I would say, the build
It's very good.
is very, 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 very good. It's very, 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 very WWE.
Oh,
It's
without
very
a doubt.
much is. I'm going to show you in champagne. You're going to show me in orange. We're going to have the battle
It's
in the back.
very, very WWE. I mean, they've just gone. His name's Orange.
Yes.
Well, he's orange. It's
Yes.
like, well, he's not orange
He's
juice.
never,
Freshly
ever. I mean,
He's never used orange.
yeah, never really used it. But
He's a lazy bastard.
I think
What about oranges? Makes you think of
I've never been a massive fan of the Orange Cassidy character because I think it's limited. Although he has proved me wrong.
Poor
in
bastard
going,
make that man.
It's so limited that I'm going to have it. I've had it for 5 years. I'll probably have it for another 5. And he is the workhorse now, which is the juxtaposition of that is probably good. He's obviously a tremendous wrestler, although he just doesn't show it in this match. I thought the build though got me interested enough to want to watch it. It felt like a really good build, and maybe, yeah.
Because of that other man in the match.
Yeah, Jericho makes him
That
better.
was what he's doing.
I mean, the only thing I would say is he's a bit inside baseball in that he says that, he decided this isn't an angle, this isn't a storyline. This is me trying to make an effort to put him over as a main event draw. I mean, he's telling me that for,
Why? What the fuck? Why would that character care about that?
Yeah, exactly. He's supposed to be the prick Jericho now, isn't he?
Supposed to be champion El Ocho or whatever.
Le champion. So yeah, I didn't like that, but he does say they're going to knock him out with the Judas effect, make him tap to the walls, and then toss him in the mimosa. So there is 3 ways you can win, but there's no rope breaks. That's the key thing.
Oh,
really.
I don't like the 3 ways to win, by the way.
Well, who's going to win
I
that
understand
match?
why they did it, because there's no near falls.
I wish Orange
So they
Cassidy
have to
had rolled him up, and then that would have been it. And then they'd have put all
Yeah.
that orange there, and then
Take that away, lads.
Yeah. Take it back. So yeah, Orange Cassidy is from wherever, weighing whatever, as Judas plays Jericho in, and the crowd sing themselves off the
There is a
song.
moment here where I got very annoyed in this Judas singing shit.
Is that the Vicky Guerrero?
Not so much Vicky, I don't like her singing. Nathan Fraser's there, by the way, who's on NXT now. But it's Nyla Rose. Now, Nyla Rose was the big monster woman's champion, the pay-per-view before, and I thought I dropped the belt too quick. And now she's in the crowd as a mook singing fucking Judas.
Yeah, I wouldn't have shown the rest. There
I
was
wouldn't have had her
fans
in the fucking crowd.
I know. I suppose they don't want to show fans because that would show fans without masks. But like, you could have just hired a bunch of goofs to just
give
sing.
the dark people who come in for the one-off.
Yeah.
Why
Get
is
the
it
dark
Nyla
order,
Rose
they
there?
all them.
When I saw Nyla Rose, I thought, I'm so angry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smash an orange now. So.
So Jericho's
Always prefer
definitely had a few mimosas and in the worst shape of his life. I don't want to shame a bloke who's obviously in his 50s wrestling at the top of his game in many ways, and look at him now. He obviously showed everyone up when they was taking the mick out of his fatness. But you cannot ignore the fact that he's a chubby
He got a
boy.
bit
He
of a
showed
punch.
everybody up by getting into shape, but at the time, we was right in saying you're fat.
He is definitely
He got a
fat.
spare tyre there.
Yes. Starts off strong anyway. It's a code breaker for a 2. I do like it, but imagine if he'd have won.
Yeah, but it would have been like, oh my god.
But he did say he was going to.
Balls
Jericho hits a big Irish whip, cups his ear Hogan style. Cassidy is almost catapulted into the mimosa but survives. Jericho throws the table, which had some champagne on it, and then uses a cocktail tray. Cassidy recovers, hits a big splash from a platform, and then Jericho and Cassidy wrestle on the other platform and stagger around. They fight around the second orange bath, and it made me realise in the end that they did actually put out one orange bath that they never used.
Yeah, they got
So-
that. Why did they have 2?
I don't know.
I'm only going to use one.
Is it 2 out of 3? I've got to go in that one. I've got to go in
I
that
never
one.
got the 2.
Yeah, Jericho
Yeah.
catches Cassidy and teases a powerbomb into it.
He eventually can't do that, so power bombs him through the second table for the bubbly. Super kick by Orange to avoid a bat shot, and he clocks Jericho with a bucket. Again, Cassidy staggers by the Mimosa with a springboard dropkick from Jericho. Orange hits a sunset flip to survive. Orange Cassidy builds momentum, but it ends in the walls of Jericho. There's a nice spot where he sort of uses the Mimosa, gets it in a broken glass, and throws it in the face of Jericho, who's blinded. He's completely blinded. He's blind, man. There's a
Blinded! Give him a coffee.
There's a top rope Hurricane Rana and a running PK. JR loves that, apparently. He doesn't sound genuine when he says, I love that.
Yeah. No, you don't.
Yeah, stop doing your topes.
Have I been paid?
Jericho hits an instinct code breaker for a 2. He teases the top rope Razor's Edge, but is turned into a Superman punch. He holds on for dear life, but a second one splashes him into the Mimosa. It is an impressive effect that he sort of splashed. He's floating. He's got enough to float.
Barely sticking out at the end.
But does that feel like a legitimate way to end a story? Like, you've had all this blood and guts and stuff. I don't know whether that is the right way to end.
Of course it fucking is.
Well, it feels a bit Doink the Clown smashing him in the face with a pie, doesn't it? And maybe that is the right way to finish it.
The problem is the character Orange Cassidy. How do you
I
end
would
a
have,
feud like that?
I would have preferred it to you. I'm going to force you to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, and I know they use that maybe in the next match, but I don't know. It just didn't. It left me feeling like if I was Jericho, I'd get out and batter him with a bat. Like, you know, I just
He was done.
like if that's the best you can do. You've embarrassed Jericho, okay, but that surely should just make Jericho's character more bitter,
Enraged.
Yeah, rather than him knowing he can't beat him. It didn't massively overstay its welcome. Wasn't anything new on the concept, but what they did was okay. Jack?
Yeah, I don't mind it, to be fair. I mean, the concept on paper is daft, but I think it was executed quite well. Jericho, did very well in it. Orange Cassidy, he's not a character that I'm fond of personally, but the crowd liked him, and it was different. It was different for AEW, so go with him and push him, and
he is a good worker.
He's still very good in the ring, though. I've got nothing wrong with the man himself. I just think the character's got a shelf life.
Yeah. I agree.
It's just expired, and nobody
it don't feel like a feud ender in a sense, but it was, which is probably the issue. But the match itself's fine. I don't like the pins and submissions. I understand why they had them, so at least they can get some jeopardy of near falls. Otherwise, you're just going to go, whoa!
All the time, 15 minutes as well in it.
Yeah, but I think it was, a short enough, it wore 20, 25 minutes. It was 10 minutes at best, I think. So it was the right length, the right winner. I wasn't offended by it. I think it was pretty okay, which surprised me a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I'd say. I did fully come into it expecting this to be the worst match, and it was by nowhere near the worst match on this card.
I'd just highlight it. It was fucking stupid. It shouldn't have had other ways. It should have been you throw them in the drink or whatever, and that's it. And you can do it because casket matches are the same. You got to throw them in. Yeah, I know there's a lead, but you can work around.
Yeah, it's just
the only thing is Orange Cassidy is not a main event working with the top. It's basically like Doink working with Taker. It doesn't fucking
work. With Brett.
Yeah, but that was when he was heel, and he was like the comedy thing for Lawler. He's like, okay, I'm bringing this in. Orange Cassidy, yes, he has a shelf life, and he's fucking rotten now. He's rotten, he's expired, change it. He clearly can work. We saw it. The whole thing was he's a slacker, he, don't want to work. But then he had that match with Pac. I think he'd already had it. So it's like, okay, well, what next then? But you're still doing the same shit. Now all we do is give you a belt and you carry it in a bag. Oh, well done.
Yeah, I think
Fucking nonsense.
for me, I've never
Fat
been
Jericho.
a massive fan of the gimmick. But I understand it. I do think there's nuance to it. But I think the problem with it being booked in AEW is the amount of input that the wrestlers have, and you could probably argue he's still squeezing or part
He's
of the
an
point.
agent now.
He's still well. I can understand why he's an agent. I think he's a good enough worker to be an agent. I don't think it's down to his working. I think that WWE would have recognised by now that you have to shed some elements of
Got
things.
to update it.
Yeah, because if you don't, then you get into a perpetual cycle where the fans then will expect that forever, and then we can't do anything with you.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's what they did with Enzo and Cass. It was over, no doubt about that. That entrance was just the mic and the entrance was over. So do we do that forever? Like you've got to at some point look to shed it. And I think with Cassidy at this point, if you go and watch an Orange Cassidy match, even if he's fighting Ray Phoenix, even if he's fighting Moxley, you're going to expect the little staff kicks, the little staff things with this thing, which is fine. But like, where do you? That's it then, isn't it? That's his character forever. That's where he's gonna live and he's gonna die. Yeah. WWE would have recognised that 3 years ago and started to shed certain things, and then you can revisit and pick it back up as nostalgia and stuff like that. And that's what WWE have always done well. Yeah. You know, at times it's like, oh well, this, and then you revisit it in the future, and then all of a sudden what was old becomes new. There's no old on there. This is just Orange Cassidy, which is great, but he's obviously a really good worker, and they've recognised that. And they've obviously gone back to sort with him winning the international title.
Yeah.
He had such a good run.
Well, he only won it because Phoenix has got his visa stuff.
Yeah.
Again, so that's why they get it.
But there is enough on that roster to just give the title to. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It don't matter anyway, does it really?
That's the point, isn't it?
They've got too many
trust
fucking
it,
belts
don't they?
anyway. You give a
Trust
shit
it.
about the belts.
You just hate everything. So.
I just think this company is so overrated.
You never say.
You
want to tell us?
I never knew that.
Well, don't worry. Anyway, if you really want to, so we're not reviewing it, but Full Gear's coming up, so you can always check that out. And Dynamite is built. MJF is doing some absolutely tremendous character work. He's playing the sort of presidential MJF for 2020 stuff. It's so clever, but then he sort of bleeds in that sort of vicious streak as well throughout the build. And ultimately, he's working around the fact that John Moxley came in as John Moxley, and much as I've just said, that's what you're getting from me forever. I chew glass. That's what I do. I just cut myself. I don't care.
I chew glass as soon as the bell rings.
I mean, it does definitely suit him. I mean, that's who John Moxley is. Yeah. He plays. He's Terry Funk, isn't he? He plays Mox. That's what he is. It's a good package, though. Got me really interested in the match, and I like the juxtaposition. When I saw that this was the main event, I thought, I don't know whether them two really blend, but I thought the storyline was done well. So MJF is out with Wardlow. Wardlow takes the Dynamite diamond ring, which again he's done really well to get over one of them daft concepts things.
It's just in the 12-man battle royal.
Yeah. But he's managed to get over
DDP handed it over.
Exactly. Yeah. Mox loves to fight, and he loves to walk through weird places.
Moxley, and I love to fight.
He's walking down some stairs today. He heads from backstage to.
Had he got his Wild Thing theme yet?
If you watched it, you'd know. So.
Yeah, he did.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
So I just checked out.
No, he hadn't got it.
Oh, he hadn't.
Fan tries to sort of run up and touch Moxley, and he's wrestled to the ground. Not a good look again for AEW, but hey ho, what do we do? So Justin gives us our final big match call of the night. Both men are undefeated at this point, I think, in AEW. Certainly, Mox had 16-0, and I'm sure that the whole idea was that MJF hadn't lost. MJF trips Moxley early on, headlocks the champs down. I tell you one thing that MJF, certainly as a heel, he doesn't waste a second. If he's in hold, he's shouting or he's screaming. He's like Bully Ray.
He just works.
He just works.
Yeah.
You work when you're in hold, you trash, you do whatever you need to. No wasted action. Lance Archer and Jake are watching off from the crowd.
I fucking love. There's something just lovely about seeing Jake in his pajamas and stuff. It's fantastic. Moxley can't get MJF in a hold, which starts to annoy him. But he eventually he fakes out and stamps on him, hits a suicide dive onto the guardrails. Speaking of rails, MJF's balls are slammed onto them. Moxley separates the fingers, and again MJF wastes nothing. He's screaming at the ref that he's he's doing this to his fingers. Brilliant. MJF reverses a sleeper and nearly steals it. Moxley is in control until MJF drops Moxley on the apron first. I don't know what I put there. Drops Moxley apron first onto the apron. Was that even me? And Moxley sells it to me. Oh, he sells him arm first onto the apron, and Moxley sells it as if he's popped his shoulder. Wardlow throws Mox in, and he'll suffer some MJF arm work. MJF hits a float through arm drag for a 2, and there's a nice running sort of arm whip into the corner. He's then sent from the apron, crashing into the guardrails. Moxley recovers, catapulted MJF into the ring post. Mox tries to pop his arm back in place, and we see that MJF is covered in blood. I mean,
he does a deep blade job there, doesn't he?
Covered in blood. Moxley's
There'll be blood at least once.
Moxley, I don't mind so much in a Moxley match, and it does make sense that we're trying to legitimise MJF a little bit as more than just a
and I
shit.
think it's the first use of blood.
That's true, yeah.
To be fair to him.
Yeah.
Just wish they'd stopped doing it.
Mox hits a one-arm suplex, flipping MJF into a 2 count. It's a black hole slam, which Excalibur alludes to on the commentary.
I don't know why nobody says it. It's like somebody said it once, and it was like, oh, yeah, go on, say that.
Yeah.
The Abyss Slam. Or
Yeah.
She was in WWE, Worry, at this point.
Probably, but it's
why
like,
don't
who
they just
cares?
say it?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And that's Gotch style pile driver gets a 2. Mox disgustingly bites the bloody head of MJF. They'll never sit well with me. MJF bites Moxley's arm and then double stomps the injured arm. It does sound great though, because it literally sounds like he snaps his arm. I don't know why they did that. Release German and a lariat though by our champ gets a 2. Defiantly, MJF spits at Moxley, who goes for the paradigm shift DDT. Now, this is banned, right?
Yeah, they can't use it
You
in
can't
the match.
use it in the match.
For some reason.
I can't recall whether that was in the build, because if it was, I wasn't concentrated enough.
Part of the contract. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Armbar by MJF. Heat Seeker pile driver gets a near fall. Air Raid Crash gets a 2. Now by Moxley as the match swings back and forth. There's a big knee smash. A third time we've seen this sort of both of men on the knees smashing each other. Sheeda and Rosa did it. Cassidy and Jericho did it. Now Moxley and MJF do it. Do get it in the context, but I have seen it before. MJF pulls the ref in, low blows Moxley. Crossroads, which it does feel like such a heel prickish thing to do, gets a 2. Wardlow is up though. He tosses the ring too far and MJF fumbles the catch. Moxley then hits the paradigm shift behind the referee's back. Fucking hated that spot so much. I was so close. Why does he need to cheat? He's the fucking champ. And behind the ref's back and beats MJF, especially when he could have just picked up the ring and cracked him with the wing. And the one thing that he had to, which was hardcore, cost him the title. And Moxley wins. And basically, it's almost as if AEW goes, we'll just forget this night ever happened. See you on Dynamite. Let's move on. 3.5 hours later. I thought that it was a really good, solid match. Well paced, probably worth the time they gave it. Worked by 2 of the better workers in the company that had a shit ending. Jack?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I remember going into it at the time, I was a little bit sceptical because I didn't like the fact that MJF was more than likely going to lose when he'd had this big build. But I did like the match. MJF knows how to work with no one there.
Yes,
totally. When everyone's
plays to
there.
the cameras, that's what he does.
And Mox was very over at this point as like the Austin sort of badass face, which I liked. I thought they worked really well together, which I didn't expect. I'm like you, I didn't like the trading forearms on the knees because I don't think this needs the Japanese strong style bollocks because there's enough of that elsewhere that you don't need it in this match. And then I didn't like the finish either. I don't think, especially when it's not going to then lead to another match. he doesn't need to cheat to win, and then you have another match
exactly.
after.
I know
Just hit him
Moxley
with a
isn't.
ring and
Yeah,
win.
Moxley's not the sort of like Daniel
Right,
Bryan
or
kissing
whatever,
babies, babyface. So I accept he will cheat to win, but like he is hardcore. So why
Just
not
smack him
do
with a ring,
something? Smack him with a ring. That's the point. And I know that that will just carry on your storyline with Wardlow. MJF can say it weren't me who got beat. Wardlow cost me the. I don't know. It was such a messy ending.
It's just a bit of a. We've banned the move just for this match and everything like that. There's no real build as to why the move was banned. We've just done it in the contract. So he's obviously going to win with the move. I think it ruined the finish a little bit, but he was obviously going to win with the paradigm shift, when it would have done more for Moxley if he just won without having to hit his DDT.
Yeah, and also as well the juxtaposition of the fact that MGF has put so much emphasis on the fact that he has this ring. That's his championship, and that was the thing that cost him his championship. I just think I don't think it's that difficult to. When you've got to the point where Wardlow is throwing a ring into the ring, we'd say that twice. I don't understand how you can then fumble again. Pardon the pun. That ending, that sort of. Oh, drop the ring. Sort of shit.
He did get a bit carry on there.
Stupid. It looked like that ghost thing on the mantelpiece. Sam, finish us off. You're finished now. You can have a breathe out.
It was okay, but they're just overcomplicate things. That's the problem with this company. They overcomplicate something they've got good. Moxley, at the time, I agree, was their badass babyface. He should have just used the ring. MJF, I think even he's kind of went off the boil a little bit. I think he might have picked up a bit. Again, I haven't watched much, but I don't know. He got a bit same with the promos and all this. So like, okay,
I think for me, he is just the best thing they've got.
He is the best thing they've got. He's in the wrong company. He's definitely
the best unique thing they've got. He hasn't been on the other show.
Well, the problem, he's so young that I think he'll probably tie himself down to the company for a few months. He probably already has.
I think he probably has. Because they mentioned the War of 24.
I think it would have been nice if he'd have at least considered it. But to be honest, I know MJF will be in WWE at some point. He's 24 or something stupid. I mean, he's so young. He's got another 10 years before he'd need to worry about moving, and he'll still be relevant because he's so good at what he does. I do worry about the juxtaposition, and I think where he is now, he's a difficult one because it's a bit like Miz as a babyface. I think MJF actually has got better edges to him than the Miz character, but I do still kind of think, well, we've all got to just accept you're a heel or a babyface.
Yeah.
If we've all got to just accept it, then
it's a bit just like what Austin was a heel, but he was just a babyface.
Yeah, but I still think there's that sort of connection with, but also I'm you. MJF ain't us. He's like, I don't really give a shit about you, and you need to accept I don't give a shit about you, but cheer me because I'm honest about the fact that
he's not a badass. He's more of a chicken shit.
Exactly, which is Moxley's I think he's a heel at the moment.
Well, they keep flitting.
I'm confused now because Brian was with them in the Blackpool.
He's still with them, but he's now doing stuff.
But he's now doing stuff with Edge and FTR, and he's just
everyone knows he's retiring in a year, so he's doing his. I'm going to fight all my dream matches every week.
Okay.
I think.
I never liked that storyline anyway. Anyway, we'll focus on this. Overall thoughts on the show. I might as well start with you, Sam, because you can just get your shit out of the way. Go on.
It was too long. These matches too long, and just again,
not
God
fun.
It's done. No, it was fun.
Overall, I thought the show lacked anything that standed out and was generally full of pretty poor stuff. There's obviously talent on the show. It's just obvious. But a 4-hour pay-per-view is disgustingly long during COVID times or any time. It's got no real depth of storyline other than the main event. The Sammy Guevara thing didn't help him. The Jericho thing tied itself up. And obviously the Elite story. Everything else sort of pretty irrelevant. I reckon you could easily shed 5 matches from this card and you would still come out
exactly the same way as you went in. Jack.
I thought it was okay, a bit long. I ain't bothered how long the show is, as long as it, keeps me interested and entertained. But the longer you go, the harder it is.
Yeah.
And the problem is, the longer you go, the more filler there is with battle royals and things, and that's when you lose me. And you did that after the third match. There's a bit of bollocks
with that pulled up in that dentist surgery.
Yeah, there's a lot of bollocks with the dentist and stuff, and there's a bit of not very good PR with Matt Hardy's stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
But there's good, the main event's quite good, which does leave me feeling a lot better than I probably would have, because it ends quite nicely. The last sort of 3 matches are decent. Well, actually, the last 5 are okay. The 8-man tag's a bit shit, but they do end with nice matches where it takes you out of the pay-per-view okay. But it doesn't do, if you miss this pay-per-view, you ain't really missed a lot. Is what I would say. And for a company that does 4 pay-per-views, it needs to make them a bit bigger than what it gave you here, I think.
Yeah, total 100%.
That was the issue.
Match of the night, Sam?
The women's title match.
So I'm going to go with FTR versus Paige and Omega, even though, I've picked ours in
I'll go the main event then. Moxley and Jeff.
Worst match?
I'm going to do the Broken Rules just because of Matt Hardy's head exploding and the day finish it.
Tooth and nail match.
Well, it's tooth and nail is the worst thing. It's so bad. It's fucking awful. I don't know whether it's a match really. It's just a segment.
Yeah.
I'll go for the battle royal because it needs a mention.
Yeah. MVP. I don't think I even agree with mine.
Well, there's Dustin.
I'll go with that.
There's 2 that I'd go for. Either Jericho, because I think he did really well, or MJF, because I think he did really well. And I think I'll go with Ninja.
Well, I'll put MJF as well. I think, I think I'll stick with that. LVP? Just say it, Sam. You're not even going to say it.
The company! The bastard!
I couldn't go for that. I'm going to go for everyone in the battle royal.
It's pretty much what I'll put a list. Penta, Phoenix and Scorpio Sky are top of that sort of throwaway list in terms of it. And I know Scorpio Sky wasn't in the Battle Royal. I mean, ultimately, the more I watch AEW, the more I get so disappointed for Tony Khan. Not because I feel sorry for him, but just because I think he just doesn't understand it, does he?
No.
And I don't even say it from a point. I think he's done a lot of good for the world of wrestling, whether you like the product or not. He's given competition at a time when WWE desperately needed competition. He's given freshness to people like Edge, who having fought everyone, can go and fight another load of people. And he's given people an alternative. But he needs to stay away from being involved in any sort of match booking. I don't know that he booked a lot of this, to be perfectly honest.
No, you can only go off what you think.
But my belief is that
he's the booker.
He's involved.
He should just be the money man.
And even where he probably should be involved, he isn't. Giving the elite thing, that is annoying. That sort of, we'll start with the books. We're now obviously turning heel. Now we're not heel. Omega's starting. It looks like Paige is turning heel. Then Omega's hit. You just feel like all 4 of them have got round the room, had their little, stakes, and played a bit of Final Fantasy, and then said, "Well, we'll do this today." And just think, "Oh God." For me, Tony Khan's the biggest problem. But in terms of who really comes out, Penta especially, and Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, I'm going to go with whoever really. It's got to be Tony in the sense of whoever allowed the Broken Rules match to continue, even if it was just for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It should never have carried
Disgusting.
on in this time.
Disgusting.
Day and age.
Absolutely.
Or that day and age, because that's 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Right, rebooking time then. I have got it down to 6 matches.
Same here.
I don't know.
Well, we'll save you then, Jack, because we've got a bigger card to work from. So, Sam, do you want to open it up?
Yeah, okay. First match.
You sound very
Is it-
laboured about. Okay.
It's a 6-pack match, you know, multi-man match. Number 1 contender for the world is Jericho, Lance Archer, Penta, Eddie Kingston, Darby Allin, and Ricky Starks. Feature the guys that you need
Yeah, I'm
to.
going to
And
have
I would
them.
have Eddie Kingston win because it leads into the world title match later.
Okay.
Which I think they started to tell the story and then just decided to leave it
Yeah.
later on. So Eddie Kingston wins that because again they dropped the ball massively with him. With
Although
what
I do
happened with him
think
in
they
front.
have. I mean, the problem is with Eddie Kingston. I ain't sure any company's ever going to say, "Well, here's our poster."
Possibly not. But
I mean,
even
everyone
the
loves
short
him because
thing
he has got that Stone Cold
is the real
kind of thing.
realistic.
But he's so rough.
Yeah. Well, we saw him live, though. In
Yeah.
Aston.
I do like him though.
I
really
like
do
him. I
like
think he has got something, but it's short term now.
Yeah.
Considering how old is he?
Well,
23,
anything
I
to look at him, he's
Yeah,
about
they're not
97.
Yeah.
No, I like it. Everyone likes it.
Next match, First Blood, Big Swole v Britt Baker.
Okay.
Make it a first. Have it in the fucking arena.
Yes.
That'll do tough in there.
First blood from mouth as a dentist.
Yeah.
Well, you could have it do that. You know, have the blood come from the mouth and Big Swole
Internal
would-
bleeding.
No, Ken Shamrock needs to be in. But Big Swole would win because I think she needs to. Britt Baker likes to bleed.
It's got a stronger character. so
Yeah,
she can
exactly,
move,
and you
so
can build on it as well. Next match, tag match. Matt Cardona and Dustin versus Brody Lee and I put Uno. But whoever.
Yeah,
I think
Who
who knows this.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who
What
knows?
about Cabana? Because he's
I
obviously the one
did
who's
think,
trying
I
to
did
prove.
think of that, but I don't want to book him.
Alright.
Brody and Uno will win because I would actually have Cardona cost Dustin because he's pissed off with Cody for leaving him and not hiring him at the time. You can lead off the story then because then if you want Cody to finish his story with Brody and win the title back in the dog collar match, then you've got Cardona who even you can bring in just to have a match. Cody can win, Cardona can bugger off. At least you got some built-in stories there.
Yes.
You know, do something because I think Cody tried to actually be the story bloke out of all the main ones. So at least you got that. And Cardona's really good. Even if he disappears after this, you can have Cody saying, "I want to fight him," you know, and have him taunting him, you know.
I'm in Australia, mate.
Yeah, you know, shit like that. So that's what I would book there. Next one, tag titles. Omega and Page v FDR. I think I would do what I said. Have it like the Brett and Owen. With Adam Page wanting to prove himself.
I do
and
like
FDR win. So you can do that. Again, I'm not a massive fan of the two, but I think out of them two in the books, I prefer these two. So, but FDR would win.
Can
and
I,
you can
can I
carry
ask
on.
before you carry on, have you used the books?
No.
I thought not.
Why would you? It was pointless. Women's title match, I would keep it Shida and Rosa, but I would actually have Thunder Rosa win. So she got both belts. So then you could do the return on power and have her win the NWA
You're booking
belt.
for NWA.
No, but
Oh,
you
okay,
could
yeah,
swap
got
the
it.
belts
Swap
around,
it.
and then you can do we got
The
title
double.
for title. We've done this, you know, because these are two of the best workers you've got in the women's division
Yeah, I
at the
agree
time.
I agree with
I
that.
don't even know who else is there other than Big Swole and Britt Baker. Who else is there?
Well, there's Anna Jay, there's the Bunny,
Great.
there's Ty Bella.
Oh, great. Oh, God, I hate her. Anyway, world title match, John Moxley v MJF. Moxley would win. You can do the whole thing, but obviously change the finish.
Yeah,
Have him win with
the ring.
the ring, even though he's a face. And then obviously Eddie Kingston, Moxley and friends. Had the barbed wire farty thing yet happened yet?
No.
No.
because I'll make it
But you could do the thing at Full Gear with them two as friends fighting each other because they both want the belt. You've had the career I should have had, Kingston, whatever. But then you can have Kingston turn face by coming to help him, covering him when happens. Like, you know, at least you can try and build that as
That
opposed
is what
to
happened.
Lance Archer with fucking Jake here, just smell my
That
face.
is what happened there.
You know, no, but
Kingston had the title match on pay-per-view and then the turn
at
in
Full
with-
Gear.
I think it was at the next pay-per-view.
Which I thought was Full Gear.
Yeah, if I remember right.
I thought it was Archer, but they
don't
did
think
the
they had
match
the match
because
on.
he
I
had
can't
COVID and
believe
Taz.
they-
Kingston had a pay-per-view
they went
title match.
from-
I know
It
it did
might have
later
been
on.
Revolution, but I think Revolution was the one we watched.
Yeah, we watched, but I don't think that was.
No, that was the
might
Bar
be
21.
match.
I thought it was 22.
Was it that long after?
I thought so, but it might. But I
Well,
can't.
now
Damn all the
Omega's
fucking two anyway. But that's how I would book it.
Right. Well, my match, 6 matches.
Six
my
cards.
cards.
You know.
My
Yo,
card.
and Tony Khan.
6 matches. I genuinely believe, especially in this time, COVID. There's no crowd. Focus on what you want to focus on. Steer it where you want to. So it opens with Page and Omega versus FTR with the Bucks at ringside. I'd build all the drama around this, and I wouldn't have it necessarily being driven by Omega, but Omega more starting to align himself. And I think actually your booking around the Page being ignorant to tagging out might actually help the story. FTR winning the belts. Shida versus Rosa. I'd have no problems with any of that, really. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I think the problem with doing the drop in the belts and spots is you might book yourself into a corner. I don't think they want to lose Shida to NWA.
When you ain't losing it, you can just have an agreement saying,
Yeah.
okay, you can have this, we'll have
Well, the
this.
problem
Yeah.
is he's NWA running at this point. Something.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly,
you could
yeah.
do like a special, like you could do a cinematic match where you just say from live from the NWA Power Studio. Here's women's title match.
Yeah, but I
mean,
would.
you had Tough and Nail and Dentist thing. At least there's a wrestling arena there.
I would have had Shida win. Colt Cabana versus Dustin Rhodes. I did allude to this. I sort of go back and forward whether I would have probably put Brody Lee versus Dustin Rhodes on the show or a title shot if Dustin beats Colt. I think I could probably level with that with it being third match on the card. Colt and Dustin isn't exactly, melts a fucking 5 stars, but it'll do the job. It'll do the job for Dustin. I don't need Cardona anywhere near it. I don't need Scorpio Sky anywhere near this. One thing I would say is I would have had that battle royal, and I would have had it with Full Gear's main event specified, but I would have had it on the pre-show. And don't know whether I would have gone with Archer. Match 4, Britt Baker versus Big Swole. No cinematic match, absolutely fine. I'm putting Swole over. Match 5, Cassidy versus Jericho.
I'm surprised you booked Cassidy.
Well, the thing is, where that booking is, if I'm taking over the booking leading up to the pay-per-view, the logical thing is this match. I wouldn't have booked this match. I would not have had it as a Mimosa match because I think it's too weak of an ending to the feud. But if I am going to book it, because it is the logical story, I'd have Cassidy win exactly the same. Jericho beat the piss out of Cassidy afterwards with a bat, and then I'd have some derivative of, last man standing, more aggression within the finish,
rules.
where Cassidy can get a proper definitive win over
Orange
Jericho.
rules.
And MJF versus Moxley, I would have exactly the same, except for the last minute, which is where Moxley would catch the ring. And MJF's ring would have cost him the thing that he wanted the most. Jack.
Right then, my rebooking, my match one, is the same as Sam in a sense that it is a 6-pack for the number 1 contender for the AEW World Championship in 2 weeks. Dynamite. It's
I was going to say, what's the next pay-per-view? 2 weeks.
It's
Is
Archer,
this all in and all out? Is it?
Lance Archer versus Scorpio Sky versus Jungle Boy versus Penta L0M versus Darby Allin versus Brian Cage.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the Brian Cage, Darby Allin stuff. Scorpio's going to be featured. Archer's there. He can lay shit down without having to win or get pinned.
Just strengthen him up a bit.
And I would have Penta win because I like him and he's very good and he's very funny
So do I.
and he's mad. Match 2 is FTR-SCU. It's not for the right to have 3 letters as your name. But it is just FTR are very good and SCU are very good workers, Daniels and Kaz, and I think I would put FTR over quite strong, and they are the former tag champs, and they've made them look pretty fucking amateurish.
Yeah.
Match 3 is Shida v Rosa, exactly the same. Shida wins. Match 4 is Santana, Ortiz, and Jake Hager versus fucking hell, I forgot his name. Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, and they need an extra partner for best friends. So this is where I would use Matt Cardona to come in to be another friend. Are you a friend? I am friend. I'll tell you not. Because I mean, them, Jericho and Cassidy's feud, so you might as well put that on. And I would put over Santana Ortiz and Hager because I think there's more legs with them. Match number 5 is Brody Lee versus Dustin Rhodes for the TNT title, because I think if you're going to do it on pay-per-view. Yes. And if you're going to do it, put Brody Lee over strong, because that is the feud we're saying. Brody is dismantling the Rhodes family, so he would beat him pretty strong. Yeah. I may have him lay out Brandy, but I might do that on a Dynamite.
And did that ever happen?
I don't think it did. But I think it's a nice Dynamite spot to have him lay Brandy out. And then Cody comes back with his Robbie Rotten head. Match number 6 is No Holds Barred. It's Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy. Do not go in a scissor lift, silly man. Matt Hardy would win. Match number 7 is the tag titles of Kenny Omega and Adam Page versus the Young Bucks. So the Elite will fight it out. We'll get it out of our systems. Fuck's sake. The Bucks
stole that Pokemon card.
Sorry, Sam. The Bucks win. They get the belts. They go for the Org after, and this is where Omega's going to lay out Page, and the Bucks are going to be like, "What the fuck's going on?" And and Omega's going to go. Then FTR are going to come in and lay out the Bucks with the Shatter Machine or the Spy Powder over them doing after this match to lead to their feud. Match number 8. I can't believe I've kept it, but I am. This Mimosa Mayhem of Jericho v. Cassidy. I can't believe I've kept that after this show. And I'm going to keep Cassidy winning. Yep. If you're going to put him over, put him over. And the main event is the same as well. Moxley v MJF, but he's winning with a ring instead of the Paradigm shit.
Well, we all kept the main event, and 2 of us kept the Mimosa Mayhem match. But if you would have shed the Mimosa Mayhem match and done it differently, let us know on our website, which is bettercallcreative.org, our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCpod, or our Twitter, which is @BCCpod. Oh, cheers, still. We round out the episode, as we always do, with a fantasy card, and as the poster child for this pay-per-view was the Mimosa Mayhem match, we have challenged each other to come up with 6 other match types that could feature a pool of some form of liquid to end some form of feud. Did we all get 6, I assume?
Yeah. 6 liquids.
Jack, I think I'll open with you then, the match one.
Joe Hendry versus Grado. Well, they're both Scottish, so what's in the pool?
Iron Brew.
Of course it is. Grado can go over.
Well, I had Grado versus Drew Galloway, but I'm going to now change it to liquidized haggis, just to keep it interesting. Of course, I'm putting over Grado. He's an amazing human being. I want to stroke his face.
My first match, triple threat: Austin v Rock v Triple H, and it's custard. Why not?
I love your fancy card sometimes. Amazing custard match. Attitude era. Who's going over?
Austin.
So them 2 have to go in the custard.
Yeah.
Is it Stone Cold custard?
Maybe.
Rocky custard. Match number 2 is Jake the Snake Roberts. Oh, I wonder what this liquid is. Versus the Sandman. Oh, I wonder what this liquid is.
I've been diving in.
It's beer. It is a double dip. They're both winning. That was both happy.
Well, my match
pool's empty.
is Mick McManus versus William Regal.
Black hair dye.
Well, exactly. It's Blackpool Brown Sea match. So they're collecting the Brown Sea of Blackpool, and William Regal's going in, obviously, because he loses all the time.
So,
Mick McManus goes over.
Next match, another triple threat. It's Hogan v Warrior v Savage.
Can't wait for this.
With tea. Why not?
Lemon tea?
No, just tea.
Tea?
Just tea.
Who's going over?
It's got to be Hogan, brother.
Wonderful fantasy card this is.
You wait for the next.
IRS versus Shane McMahon.
Okay. I'm trying to think.
I honestly
It's full of sweat.
two of the 20s men.
Oh, brilliant.
Shane wins.
My next match is
Kurt.
Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon, and in a McClory match, obviously. I'll put Vince over.
My next one is Taker v Kane, and Taker's going over because he's Hobbit.
Where's the hook? Who needs a hook? Oh dear.
Big Show v Ric Flair. Tears.
They have to cry to Miller.
Ric Flair wins.
Nikolai versus Vladimir Kozlov in everyone's favourite tipple from Russia. It's a vodka match.
That would have been the Dead Sea.
And I'm going to put over Nikolai.
Alright, my next match is probably a Vince Russo classic. It's Rhea Ripley v Bianca Belair, and it's tomato juice.
Who's going over?
Bianca.
It's been a long show.
I've shoehorned one of my boys in. It's John Zandig versus Supreme. It's full of blood.
Of course it is.
Supreme goes over, he's my boy.
We've got to test the blood first.
Test it.
Mine is Angle versus Stone Cold, just so we can see the angle played out into a match. It's the paddling pool match, obviously. And I'll put it over Angle.
My next match is Angle versus Shamrock. Mashed tater.
That liquid.
It is. Depends on how much you put in it. I'm putting Angle over. Just to see Shamrock go bad with that.
Wait a
tater
minute.
all over.
Giant Taster versus Big Daddy.
Killed me, and he. Go on.
Daddy sauce.
Ah,
Because of the
Big Daddy.
I was
Well,
expecting gravy.
I had exactly the same, but I will change it to Big Daddy versus Giant Haystacks in a gravy bowl match.
I would have had Bob Roll.
That was a missed opportunity. And I'll put over Big Daddy as well, because he should end every
On
single
every
fantasy card we ever have. Big Daddy should win.
I'll get him in somewhere.
I haven't got Big Daddy. I've got Sting v Vampiro,
Yeah.
and it's red viscous fluid.
Oh, of course, yeah. You can't
It's
say it.
blood light. I'm putting over Vampiro because I think it needs to get put on the Sting.
Finally, yes. The rightful winner of that feud. But if you feel that we have missed out a viscous liquid, let us know on our website, which is bettercallcreative.org, our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCpod, or our Twitter, which is @BCCpod. That is the month of December started, but I'll have to edit that out.
Sorry.
That is the month of December begun, but we will be checking out two other promotions in the WWE Saudi Arabia version, obviously, as we check out Crown Jewel 2018 and also Starrcade 1998. And rounding out our episode today, saying goodbye, the piece of music that will be playing us out is an instrumental version of All Roads Lead To by the wonderful group Valium Gorillas, which you can check out, give a search to, and if you do like the song, check them out on all social media platforms now. But that leads me to say from... He hates AEW and he doesn't care who knows it. It's Sam Chance.
Goodbye.
And he tolerates AEW because he's a true wrestling fan and he'll try to like everything. It's Jeff Chance.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.